Welcome to Rocks, episode 9. What's up? It's Marcellus Wiley, that dude. We had a crazy conversation. We're going to bring that in. Mike Hill needs to go see the doctor.
Mike Hill needs some flow.
Wait, clean that up. You got to clean that up. That sounds crazy.
The doctor now. I ain't giving nothing away now.
We just ain't burning nobody. We don't want a ton of Mike Hill.
That sounds crazy.
One Mike Hill is enough. We only need about 8 more.
Please clarify that.
At this age, yeah, man. So that dude,
Mike Hill giving the gift that keep on giving and shit.
shout out to California Smash, our new pickleball facility. We opening it up this spring. Look forward to that. So I'm representing today. Swagged out. Who we got next to them?
Bucky Brooks.
Yes, sir.
Longtime NFL vet.
Yeah.
All things in the media. Write about it, talk about it, podcast it, whatever it is, I can do it.
Yoda, the Yoda of football.
Yeah, my man Bucky. What's up, y'all? Mike Hill, you know what it is. ESPN, Fox Sports, last 11 years. I'm doing stand-up comedy now, man.
Oh, what?
Really?
Yeah, man. Been doing stand-up comedy for about the last year and a half, man. Doing some things. Comedy. So I got a show at the Comedy Store coming up this Monday, man. So come check me out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, bro.
We expecting fireworks today. We about to snap them.
I can be real. I can be myself on the show.
Yeah.
See the other side
He
right
already
here.
gave us a snippet.
A snippet.
I love it. Who we got there with the bape on?
A little something.
You know what I'm saying?
Go by Just, New York City's finest, repping for the town. Nah, that's it. We
Cameron's cousin or something like that. Killer. Who we got here?
Richie Porter, straight from the south side of Chicago. And we're going to be up in your show, Mike, like a Sanford and Son episode. We want the 3 degrees. We want the 3 degrees.
You know, nobody at home knows nothing.
But I get it.
Oh, that's love, baby.
Eugene King, Laker fan, Lakers champions this year. We got it this year.
Okay, you know damn well.
Did he have that on last week?
But no.
The only thing worse than a Cowboy fan is Laker fan. The same dude.
Same dude.
The same dude.
It's the same dude. Who's number 6? Is that Anthony?
That's LeBron.
Oh, because he's 23 now. He flipping again? LeBron. Okay.
That was Heat. Number 6 was the Heat number.
That's right.
He couldn't wear 23 with the Heat because Pat Riley retired number 23.
Oh, because
Jordan.
I just saw the J and the S and the 6. I thought he was repping Eddie Jones.
First of all, Eddie Jones was a beast for the Lakers.
Eddie Jones
number
started
6.
over Kobe. He started over Kobe.
Yeah.
He was better than Kobe at that time.
At that time. Don't play with Eddie Jones. Hold on. I got one question before we get to the Super Bowl. Why did Pat Riley retire Michael Jordan's number with the Heat?
Because
he was Jordan.
Yeah, he's Jordan. He's the GOAT.
But he didn't play for the Heat.
He was
Yeah, that's too much props.
He was the Heat.
Pat Riley's thing is that like Michael Jordan revolutionized basketball so much that he should be retired by every team in the NBA.
Like Jackie
and he should
Robinson.
be.
That's interesting. Okay.
He should be.
I mean, look, we got Jerry West as the logo, so I guess that's another demonstration, a simple way of doing that.
They're trying to change that though. They're trying to change that. Jerry West even wanted that change before he died. He didn't want to be there. He thinks that the Jordan silhouette should be the logo of the NBA.
Well, Nike does too. Turn the ball. Spawn need to be mad. All right, let's get into it. Super Bowl week, man. Everybody named Mama down there. I've been to so many Super Bowls. I hate to sound like that guy, but I usually choose to keep a normal life versus going down there, letting that lion out the cage and and I'm hydrated. And it's tons of fun. We all know that, but first, let's get on the field. How you see this matchup playing out? How you see the Chiefs versus Eagles?
Two best teams. Two best teams in ball, but it's so hard for me to think that the Kansas City Chiefs have come this far that they're going to mess it up. It's one of those things where when you go to 5 and 6 years, you're on the verge of doing a three-peat, and you only have 60 minutes to get it done with Pat Mahomes. Like, I know you're that dude, but he's really that dude. I just think in this game, when you need someone to make a play to finish it out, it's hard to bet against Kansas City and Pat Mahomes.
Isn't it hard to bet against Jalen Hurts in any pivotal moment? Like, that dude, ever since I've seen Jalen Hurts, he shows up when you need him to show up. Even last week when we saw him in the NFC Championship game, like, Jalen Hurts is a whole different animal when the lights are the brightest. I know he ain't Patrick Mahomes, but He's no slouch, and with the talented team the Eagles have, they can make something work.
That's the reason why I want the Eagles to win. So people that's always on Jalen Hurts can shut the hell up. Bro. Please shut up. Jalen Hurts 2 years ago in the Super Bowl against Kansas City could have been the MVP of that game, man.
Yeah.
Over 300 yards passed and 4 touchdowns.
That point.
But everybody always tries to find a reason to have some kind of criticism when it comes to Jalen Hurts. And I don't understand.
Why?
I don't own it.
Is he too mild-mannered?
He light-skinned. I don't know.
You know that plight. That's your plight.
It's that light-skinned hate that's out there.
Well, it's because he didn't win yet. That's really what it is. You know, they put that on your head until you win. So he was there. He showed that he can perform, but until you get that.
No, Jay Daniels hasn't won yet, and he already feel like he ain't getting no criticism. And he's a rookie, but he's getting love. And then Jalen Hurts is like, I've been to the Super Bowl, and I ain't getting that type of love. No.
That's because,
But I think because he set that tone now. Like Jaden Daniels, nobody expected him to get where he got that quickly.
Right.
I think with Jalen, he's performed. So it's like, all right, the expectations are just higher for him.
It's something else,
than
dog.
it is.
It gotta be something else. It gotta be something else.
I think he came in. And so here's what we do on our side. Like a lot of times when you're talking about the draft and media and stuff like that, he wasn't expected to be a player. He was a second-round player. No one thought he was good. You go all the way back to Alabama and Oklahoma. No one believed that he was an NFL quarterback. He goes, takes the job from Carson Wentz, and becomes that player. And what happens? A lot of us spend our time saying, see, I told you he couldn't. I told you he couldn't do it, as opposed to
confirmation
changing.
bias.
Yeah, so
I'm
as opposed
always
to
acquiesce
change.
to you because you played the game. Acquiesce you guys always play the game or whatever. But we don't say the same thing about Brock Purdy.
See?
We don't say Brock Purdy.
exceptions.
Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant. Brock Purdy gets more love than Jalen Hurts. Would you say?
This year was a struggle
Josh
for Purdy.
Allen gets
Josh,
more love.
well, yeah, and
Ain't been
deservedly
to,
so.
But ain't never been to the Super Bowl.
See, that's the thing. It's so inconsistent. It's uneven.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Jalen
saying.
Hurts
So-
getting hated on for something.
Get back to the question of why he gets hate. But is it because he with the Philadelphia Eagles? I don't understand
Well,
where the hate comes
the
from.
whole Eagles system gets hate because they had a historical meltdown last year.
True.
They started out great and then acted like they couldn't play football again.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it's all coming from. Because you look at them, the Eagles
No, because look, they got love for what's my guy who came in for Carson Wentz and won it all.
Oh, Nick Foles.
Nick Foles is
Yep,
God
yep,
out there.
yep.
He Rocky 2.0.
Yep.
Like he can't go nowhere without getting love. So there's something for me. I tell you what, when I see Jalen Hurts, these type of players never satisfy me. When I know that you have talent and you actually achieve more than that talent, I'm like you. I'm always saying, he ain't that good. Like he like Tom Brady. I hated on Tom Brady for so long, and not publicly, but just like he ain't all that. And he just kept winning Super Bowl. He ain't all that. And I think Jalen Hurts, because of his success, despite you always looking at him like, is he that good? And I think we fall into that he ain't all that conversation.
Let me go all the way back. This didn't start with the Eagles. This started when he was with the University of Alabama.
Yeah.
I'm an Alabama
That's
fan.
what I'm saying.
He was at Alabama, and Alabama fans were even saying he ain't that guy, even though he was always winning and taking to the SEC championship game.
That's why he got yanked.
He got yanked for Tua.
For Tua.
Tua in the national
Halftime.
championship game at halftime.
Right.
Then he went to Oklahoma, became a Heisman Trophy finalist. Still didn't get the love, second round pick.
Say it.
So where is this hate coming from? I think there are certain people out there in society who are, I feel like, are chosen people that you can look at and like, why do I dislike that person?
I think there's something to that because by all accounts, he's exactly what you want in a quarterback in
all
terms of
things.
the way that he carries himself.
All things.
Like we talk about being presidential, being professional, being on time and on point. He's all of those things. He doesn't do anything that is outside of the framework of the team. And I feel like they're not the same, but I feel like he gets some of the blowback that Russell Wilson
I was
also
just
gets.
thinking that. I was like, he is Russell Wilson.
he's
Another
almost-
light-skinned quarterback.
He's almost.
I'm
he's
just
almost-
saying.
he's
I think we're
almost
on to
too
something
clean
here.
cut.
I think we're on to something here.
No, but
Represent for the light skin coalition today.
for sure. But
They
I feel like he's almost too clean cut that we want to hate. But quietly, like if you see him like when he's with the bros and all that, because he's a Q. Like he throws it up for his dudes. You see his pictures.
David
with his lady, he
Mulligetta,
has
Klein, all
that.
that.
It
Yeah.
could be his image. You know, it could be a little hate. Because, you know,
Oh, probably so.
Jay, he got him in a frenzy.
Yeah.
Like the women going crazy over him. He's
Yeah.
always in the public media.
Yeah,
They're always
good-looking
talking
dude.
about him.
Good looking dude. You can see that.
So it
So I
could
know
be,
what
it
that's
could be
like.
just hate behind it.
Well, all those
Just like
things,
Nino Brown.
all those things, he gonna drop all that. That ain't gonna. None of that's baggage. None of that's weight when he gets into the game. it's enough in front of you. It's enough wearing red that you got problems to deal with. When Jalen Hurts has the ball, Kansas City defense is what really leads them now. It's so crazy. People still stuck in Patrick Mahomes in offense. I'm like, do you see these numbers? They are mid-pack offensively, and defensively they are stars. Yeah. How do y'all see Jalen Hurts, Philadelphia, going up and down the field potentially trying to get points on the board? How y'all seeing that playing out?
Well, the challenge he has to deal with Spags. Steve Spagnuolo is a super experienced coach. I think this is his 7th or 8th Super Bowl that he's been in. So anyone to tell you, like in the playoffs, like it always escalates. And as you get closer to the final game, like the emotional swings it can be too big for everybody, players and coaches. So with Spags, what you know is whenever he gets hairy, he's going to send pressure. He's going to blitz. We saw it with Josh Allen. And the thing he's going to do with Jalen is, even though Jalen's been great against the blitz
this year,
he's going to test him. He's going to see, can he make those plays under duress? A lot of times in those games, it's really hard to lock in, focus, and make the right play.
What's the best way to beat the blitz?
You got to punish it. So you got to throw where it's coming from, but you got to make them pay. If they blitz, you got to ding them. If not, if you have problems making completions, making big plays, it'll never discourage you.
Can you run against the blitz?
I mean, you can pop one.
But see, do they pass blitz or they run blitz?
Oh, they coming. They bring it by.
Okay, so one of the things Philadelphia got this year they had 2 years ago, they got that running game. Yeah. They ain't relying just on Jalen Hurts. Right. They got Saquon Barkley, who could be the MVP of the league, right? Yeah. I mean, this guy can do, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield. And they got a great offensive line. They got wide receivers. Man, the Philadelphia's offense is stacked. Philadelphia's defense is Philadelphia's defense is better than Kansas City's defense.
They're the more talented team. Like no one, if it's about talent, the Eagles should win. Yeah. The problem is,
Kansas City sold its souls to the Devils.
It's like the winning. Like the Kansas City Chiefs remind me a lot of like the Spurs, right? Like the Spurs, you don't want to see them win. They're kind of boring. You're like, oh my God, here they go. Yeah. And then they're winning because they just wait for you to implode. That's how Kansas City has kind of become the team this year. They just wait for the other team to
That's Belichick's way. Belichick, Patriots, same thing. Belichick said more games in the NFL are lost than won. That means just wait for their mistakes, capitalize on it, we'll be fine. All these one-possession games for Kansas City Chiefs, everybody like, oh, here we go again. And it's so crazy because in terms of points scored, this is the same team that they were last year. Now, that's wild in terms of their ranking because you're like, it feels like this year the offense took a step back. But I'm like, well, they did the same thing last year, but people just have not switched their minds and perception that this is a defensive-led team.
I think the Eagles are actually better equipped for waiting out the other team this year because of Saquon.
Okay.
And you can just run the ball, and then kind of wait for them to slip up.
Don't act like Pacheco, them D batteries he got in his back. I ain't never seen somebody run that fast and hard.
That's a bad boy.
Every day I see him, I'm like, that's hip flexors ready to take.
But he's a beast, but does he affect the games?
Yes.
Pacheco?
Yes, Pacheco's something.
I know before he got hurt, he was affecting games.
Yeah.
When he came back, I didn't, and maybe
he's not in the Saquon conversation.
No, it's more so Kareem Hunt and them, they share it, but you don't go into the game worrying about Pacheco. If they get off and you slow down Mahomes, you're like, tip your hat.
Yeah.
But the difference is, and Mike is right, Saquon is a major factor because honestly, when you go into it, sitting in the defensive meeting room, the defense coordinator is going to come and say, hey guys, we got to stop 26.
Yep.
If Jalen Hurts beats us, they're going to be like, hey, so be it. It just wasn't our day. But we know 26 can beat us. So everything when it comes to the blitz is going to be designed to bottle up 26. And I think they're going to make Jalen Hurts have to make enough plays, whether it's with his legs or with his arm, to beat them.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, like the blitz coming, it's the processor, and it's almost like, anybody else DJ in here? Like dog, it's like you got the crowd, they on the floor, they rocking, you got that song ready, you got to be ready to keep this thing going, and it's all like a recall, which is based on your preparation, because if you can't grab that song in your mind, you can't grab that option in your mind, and it's all happening this fast, next thing you know, everybody at the bathroom. Like, they're like, who ain't been to that party? Who ain't been to that the point like
Everybody been
it's really the DJ is like paralyzed. He's like, what
When they all
keeps this
leave the
going?
dance floor at the same time.
Everybody go.
And Marcellus, as a DJ, you know that feeling. It's like your body goes cold.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've been
And
there.
you can't think, and everything
Oh,
gets
I've been there.
bright. You're like,
And then you see all of a sudden the DJ act like he got all these knobs to touch because he's like, shit, this how to mess
Sidebar, I always felt like DJs don't realize it because they don't ever get back to what they were doing. They just keep going on that route that changed
They get
everything.
mental, dog. That's, you know, you ever see your quarterback just like incomplete, out of bounds, interception. That shit get mental. You be like, oh, everybody.
I see why now y'all don't take requests.
Yeah, you got to stay in your flow. You got to stay in your
you got to
zone.
stay in your flow. That's why y'all don't take requests.
Yeah.
That's why you hate when people take. Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to.
Yeah.
But you will, because sometimes they request something. You're like, all right, I'm gonna play that. But you got your imaginary set going.
Right.
I think it's best to go in there and say, I'm gonna go here, but I gotta watch where they want to go. 'Cause
Right.
It's the funniest thing before we get back on track. When you play a song, you're like, I'm just gonna throw this out there because you always got to throw something at the crowd to see what's up.
See where they at.
I remember I DJed in New Orleans one time, and I thought all they wanted to hear was like Woody songs, right? and then I played something West Coast, and they got hyper for that because they probably like, all we hear is Woody songs. Give me something else. Then I was like, damn, I gotta go my West Coast back. That was easy for me, but I didn't anticipate that. So, like in football, you can say, oh, here he come, and then that's pre-snap. Then he don't come. Well, who's coming? Okay. and then you better, and that's how it happens, man. It's gonna be wild to see it.
I was wondering if I feel like what's going to hurt Philly, and I could be wrong, but I feel like they're going to get in their head because Kansas City is going to be, in this particular Super Bowl, I feel like they're just going to put up points really quick.
Really?
And they're going to be so focused on running the ball.
Okay.
It's just my
okay.
I feel like it's going to happen.
So they're gonna try and slow play with the run
With
game.
the run, and then that's going to end up working against them because they're going to have that ball for so long.
So I'm hearing you on that, but see, the Eagles, when they run the football, they don't run for like 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Eagles have like explosive run plays.
Yeah, say that
Their
again.
run plays, like they go, like Saquon, I believe, has had like at least
I think it's 6 or 7
over 70 or 60.
Yeah, I mean, he did it.
Like,
He did it
everybody
against the
saw
Bills.
that.
So like
He just
it's
did
like
it with the Bills.
they have
Yeah.
explosive.
Yep.
They run for big plays. They run
First
for
play.
explosive plays. You know what I mean? So they can still run the football effectively, just like they would do passing the football down the field. And if you look at this matchup on paper, man, you guys know as well as I do. There's everything that says the Philadelphia Eagles should dominate this football game because they're a better team.
Yeah.
It's just that Kansas City has that experience. And they have Patrick Mahomes, and they sold his soul to the devil. I believe that.
I think Saquon.
sold his soul to
I
the devil.
think
You got
Saquon might.
receipts? Yeah, you got a receipt for that?
Season.
Credit
How
card?
the hell they winning all these damn games? I mean, balls coming off uprights, block field goals at the last second, toes out of bounds.
You know
Like,
how
come
you
on,
win like
man.
that? Literally, it's 2 scoreboards, and this is why I think Kansas City wins again. The dual scoreboard. So one is the one we all see, which is the points, all right? 27 to 26, you can see it. But what Kansas City does is there's the other scoreboard, Uncle Mo, momentum, the elasticity of like, even though that's the score, how is this going? And Kansas City will never count themselves out of a game, and you, as their opponent, won't count them out the game.
Yeah.
So it changes how all your decisions are made. Because you're like, they down 14 and you still playing like it's tied or something. And they like, we good because we know that they are not applying that pressure.
That's what I was going to say because you brought up 2 things. You talked about how Saquon is going to get that big run because it happens, but then you talked about Kansas City experience. I think when Saquon get that big run like he did against the Bills, it shook them. They never recovered after that first play. Like you could see they were always playing with their back against the wall.
Yes.
I mean, the Commanders. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But
I'm like, this boy been playing mad.
my bad. You know what I meant. That first play. So but the difference with Kansas City is, as you said, they got that experience of even if that big play happens,
They're like, whatever.
it's not going to catch them off
It's
their
not
square.
just them.
But it's not them, it's you.
You. How many times you heard that at the end of the game? Oh, they still in it. Or they be like this. Oh, don't count them out. How about coach? Well, let's be aggressive. Count them out. Let's go for the bomb. Let's go be aggressive.
It's like going in the bathroom and you're scared to say Candyman 3 times.
Yes.
Even though we saw the movie 20, 30 years ago, I'm not going in the bathroom and say Candyman 3 times because he's going to pop up.
Right.
It's the same thing. That's Kansas City. Like, you're up, but you're looking at the clock like,
To that point.
No, right? You
To that
up.
point.
You up and you look at the clock like, hurry up. You're like, you
Hey, Bucky.
But to that point, what's happened over their last 3 Super Bowls that they won? What's one
tight.
thing?
Those games were tight.
No,
wasn't it?
they were behind by 10 points.
Yeah, going into the fourth.
Going into the fourth quarter.
Philly wasn't it 35-35?
They were down. They were down by 10 points.
They were
down double digits in their last 3 Super Bowl wins.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And they've been able to come back.
I swear we did a deep analysis of the play calling when the other team is up. I guarantee you they're out of sort in terms of how they got up, and then are they going to continue to do that? It's nothing worse. My dad used to always say, never play prevent defense because it prevents you from winning.
Yeah.
And I was like, Daddy, I get it. Because you change up everything. And how many times you see KC up and the other team is just playing to keep the lead instead of increase the lead, right? It's different.
Right. And I woke up this morning and literally the first thought,
Thank you, God, I'm old as hell. Rest in peace, Herb got it. Like, I'm 10 years older than Herb got it.
What you doing today, 41-year-old? What you doing today?
This salt and pepper's earned. I really deserve.
That's why you woke up this morning. You want to finish what you started last night.
Metamucil. You woke up with that 41-year-old.
Yeah. I'm ready to go again. What about you?
in the immortal
I know you was
words,
ready last night, but I need 8 hours.
I need a half.
I need a full 8 hours of sleep. Yeah.
Let me take a half.
That's how you woke up this morning. Not again. You ready to go again? No.
Zorro.
hey, like coming to America, F you. Who's next? But my mind said Philly's gonna win this game. And I don't even think it's going to be close. And I am still rooting for a three-peat because I want to see that excellence.
Yeah, me too.
But it doesn't even make sense to think that Kansas City is going to win this game, in my opinion. I think Philly's going to get up early. I think watch Patrick Mahomes and watch how fast he walks. I pay attention to how when he gets frazzled, he walks really fast. And he walks around in a circle. Watch and see.
I would say this.
And I don't think it's going to be close. I don't think the game's going to be close.
I have an image of Mahomes looking at Kelsey like, hey, dog, we did our thing this year. Just, hey, we came up short. I can see that happening. The reason I don't think it will happen is because the old saying, football is a game of skill, greater game of will. So even if you're better than the other team, that's not enough in football. It works like that in a lot of other sports, a little easier. Football, you cannot quantify dog, heart. That's why Tom Brady's GOAT. That's why Jerry Rice GOAT. No one ever in football looked the part, had the measurables, and became that guy. Barry Sanders. You look at Barry Sanders, you're like, then you would think it's some other running back. It's not him. It's like this immeasurable ticker that Mahomes and the Chiefs and Andy Reid. Andy Reid gonna put him in position.
Andy Reid. You talk about Spags. You talk about the coaching.
Yeah.
Sirianni. Remember Sirianni? After week 5. They were talking about firing Sirianni
again.
And then you talk about the offensive coordinator,
Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore.
Okay.
Up for a coaching job right now.
Yeah.
Distracted.
Is he distracted?
Distracted.
You know what I mean? So you made a good point.
Wait, Mike. What's he? He's not sitting on the sidelines or up in the booth thinking about his next job.
Yeah.
Not during the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't believe that. Look, I could be like, hey, what y'all talking about? 5 million, 10 million? Okay, hold on. All right. 37X, 27. I could do both in the same day.
You think so?
It's not necessarily like the contract thing, but the phone is buzzing. Every coach that's out of work is hitting them up. He's trying to figure out how to formulate a staff. He's doing all these other things or whatever. It's a lot going on.
That dude ain't looked at his phone in a week and a half.
Yeah, he got that silence on. Focus. He got focus on.
Okay.
That is a lot.
But ain't that funny how people get you up? I know you're busy, but
yeah,
he get a lot of that.
And New Orleans is the coaching job. He's down in New Orleans right now.
He's right there.
That's the job. The Saints. He's up for the Saints
He's probably
job.
walking around the facility like,
right now.
I think they're practicing. In fact, the Eagles are practicing in the facility.
You don't think there's
play a little hard to get? Wait, all you gotta do is wait a week, dog. You can't put it on.
That's it.
You can't put on back burner for a few days to a week.
I'm the offense coordinator. I'm about to be the head coach, dog.
Plus, he's not doing his own negotiating. His agent is working on that.
But being through any negotiation, and we've all been through that before.
I'm telling you,
there is a preoccupation. Like you're preoccupied by that. Like you're not directly focused on present moment. It's impossible. So because your ego's involved, like. And they say ego, this deep. This therapist told me this. He said, ego, you know what that means? I was like, nah. He said, energy gone. And I was like, wow. He was like, so Last Dragon, you got the glow. When you in the zone, Bruce Lee, there's no ego.
You call me old? You call me old?
Last Dragon.
Bruce Leroy?
Hold up, Negro.
Shabadoo?
Kiss my Converse, Leroy. But he said it's pretty deep. And he was like, so think about the times you've been in the zone, anything, and you're mindless. Like you're not even, it's like you just glowing, and then you wake up out of it and you start thinking about your errands, your tasks, who calling you, whatever. And there's no way, I will agree here, there's no way your energy is not going to a little of this next job. It can't. You can't be fully locked in.
I want you to go back to college, right? Because I think we all may have had like a little player phase in our time. And so you're out with a baddie, but your phone is buzzing.
Oops. You had a phone in college?
Not
me. No.
He had the big brick.
Oh, Nino looking at it.
I had a CD player. Unless it came through my CD player, it wasn't working.
Oh, damn, Rich.
Put the code in.
You didn't have the internet.
It's
You didn't have the
Scottsdale,
internet,
baby.
so you ain't had no phone.
But when you're out with somebody, you can be locked in, but that ain't gonna stop you from checking your phone.
Yeah.
That's real.
Exactly.
And so for Kellen Moore, he's locked in.
That's real.
But he's checking his phone.
He's checking his phone.
Yeah.
Like, and so that little bit of, you say energy gone, like just, maybe.
Distractions.
It's a distraction.
A little bit of distraction. Which
it's not
takes
a
away from your
direct
preparation
thing.
a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, it does.
Just a
All
little
right, let's keep it going on distractions, because they in Miami are saying they got a distraction out of town. Jimmy Butler.
Had to go.
Tons of NBA trades. We just after we get through Jimmy Butler a little bit, keep him going. We saw the Lakers make a trade as well. A little rookie Connect gotta go. He was a little beast too, but gotta
Mistake.
go. But let's start with Jimmy Butler. We all knew this was gonna happen, right?
Give it to me. Look, I'm a Miami Heat fan. And so when you talk about the culture, you talk about everything that they're built on, and talking about playing hard, working together, being a team, nobody above the team, he violated all the code.
Facts.
Then he's out there shooting one-legged fadeaway three-pointers from the corner.
Dirk. You let Dirk do it?
Yeah. Then he got his hair, the emo fade. Like, it was too much. He had to go. He had to go. Pat Riley. I respect Pat Riley for this, because he's always said, like, hey, man, I don't deal with this. So when he was cutting up, he sent him to his room. And then he's like, nah, dog, I'm not dealing with this. So he had to go. He ran it out. The thing is, Jimmy Butler's 35. He still retained the bag because he got a 2-year extension from the Warriors when he signed.
111
for 2 years.
21.
I mean,
121?
Yes.
60. Oh, I read it wrong.
Yep.
Yeah.
They had an extra 10?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Hey, he just got fined like $5 million. He's like, okay, how you do
I
the
get that
carry
back.
the 2? I got it.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, they pay for it. So,
But in
so it
California,
worked. Yeah.
opposed to tax-free state.
Yeah.
So
That's real.
took a haircut.
He took a little haircut.
Hey, but
And
when
he-
you're dealing
Ungrateful,
with that, though.
disrespectful ass Heat fans out there that don't appreciate what Jimmy Butler brought to your team.
Thank you.
Hold
I
on.
can't
Thank you,
understand Jimmy Butler. The Heat would not have been relevant over the last couple of
Thank you.
years
Talk about
without Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is a winner. Now, I will say Jimmy Butler has been a malcontent pretty much everywhere he goes.
That's
but
who he is
The
now.
kind of malcontent he is, I will take him any day, because all he wants to do is really win. And he wants to get the most out of his teammates.
Does he really want to win and then doesn't play as much or as hard in the regular season?
No. He
I mean, you can't
look,
get a reputation
I-
and a nickname like that, and it's,
Jim.
you know what I'm saying?
I think you can say that about a lot of players in the NBA. It's a long season in the NBA, 82 games in the NBA, and you want to hold your best for the best when playoff time comes. Would you rather have a player that plays hard and gets MVPs all the time, or win championships all the time?
No, I get him wanting to play for championships and all that all the time. He took time off, but that's not really the way the Heat get down.
But
Like, they
you know
don't-
when it started? This
yeah.
started because when at the end of the season, when Jimmy Butler said, "Hey, had I been there for the Heat last year,
yeah.
had I been there,
This is what I said a couple weeks ago, a couple
This
episodes
would have been
ago.
a different outcome." Who would, if you're a Heat fan, don't you want your best player to say, "Hey,
Yeah, but-
I've been there"?
But what if you're a Heat
talking-
teammate?
And Pat told him to shut up.
And Pat told his grown man
That's
to
what
shut
started
up.
this.
Yeah,
I
so
said
Pat went
this.
like this. Pat said, "Yeah."
That's when I feel like Pat let his ego get in the
Yep,
way.
yep.
Because that's your guy, and he's shown and proved that he can talk like that.
But
Because he
he-
took you to 2 finals.
He did, but he-
nobody, you could, as Pat's the GM or president of operations,
Everything.
you couldn't get nobody else in there to help Jimmy.
But that's-
So he's there by himself carrying the team. If he wanted to talk like that, let him talk.
But hold on. Okay, you're right. You're absolutely right. But watch this be right too. Pat can also say, "Shut up, man. Like we only want to talk about what we know we can control, what we did, etc." But either way, they're both right and they're both wrong if they catch feelings over the other side.
Let me ask you a question,
Like
though.
you know you hiding real problems when the reason you gonna trick off all this money and lose your spot in this team is because he told you not to say that. You got real problems.
I mean, I don't think he thought that in that moment, though.
But that's the point. It grabs something else. And maybe you didn't like, look, by the way, I don't like this either. By the way, I don't like this either. And you ain't giving me enough room or respect as a star. Whatever it is,
No, that's
it wasn't just, I
No,
told
it
you not to
wasn't
say that.
But I think
It was the money.
he
wanted that
Jimmy,
extension.
He definitely wanted the money.
He wanted that extension. He
I
wanted
feel
that
like
one.
Jimmy was always doing the same thing. He was functioning, operating the same way, just like how he was taking his own private flights. It was all allowed. As soon as he spoke out against Pat, now all of a sudden you want him to do this. You don't like what he's doing, but he's been him. This is what he's been doing from day one.
That's
so you
superstar
can't get mad at him now
Yeah.
for doing what he's always been doing and what you always allowed him to do.
Yeah,
So
so
I think Pat is wrong in that.
always allowed them to do, like, this is the tough part about reining in a star. Like, we're going through this in basketball right now. We're trying to be tougher on the kids. Our coaches, like, we got, I told you we got spanked this weekend, but we play some older kids. It doesn't matter. We got spanked. And coach, I'm talking to him at between games, and I'm like, Coach, you got to be tough on these kids, accountable. The way I coach kids that are 9 like they're 19. Like I'm not mean, I don't yell, I'm patient, but everything you do is going to be about accountability.
Right.
Because this is why I always tell them when they be like, well, it's hard for the kids to focus. I was like, no, it ain't. Because I'll say, if ice cream truck, shoot. I'll say, I want you to run that fast on the next play.
Right.
Oh, I didn't know I could run that fast. And that's it. So long story short, he's trying to rein in kids. Gene knows. That's tougher than just raising them the right way from hello. When Pat tried to rein in Jimmy like, dog, what you talking about?
It's too late for that.
It's too late for that. And other guys get away with this.
There you
Right.
go. There you go. It's one thing to have a college kid, a high school kid, somebody who hasn't made that name for themselves, somebody who isn't a superstar, to keep them humble in a sense. It's all about the team. When they are already at a status, when they are already a superstar status, when is the last time you ever heard a coach, you heard a owner, a general manager call out his star player like that?
I don't have
Star
it on
player.
record. I don't got it on mental record. You're right.
It's never happened. So, and I understand Pat Riley is who he is, and Pat Riley is the NBA. I understand that he is. And his name and his reputation and his word means a lot. But when you got your star player who just basically took you to the finals a couple of years ago, basically is saying what he said. Hey, had I been there, we would have been different because of what his reputation is in the postseason, and he believes in himself that much. And you say Jimmy needs to shut up.
Well,
that's disrespectful.
but see,
Didn't they
also,
bring Kobe in a little bit? Didn't they rein Kobe in a little bit and he was almost traded? Okay, I digress.
And Mike, when you have built a reputation and built your brand on being playoff Jimmy, and you're not there for the playoffs, then what are you talking about?
But it wasn't like
good
it was
point.
an injury. It's because he was hurt.
Yeah,
Injuries
I know
happen.
he's
It was-
hurt.
So
but
then
it
stay
wasn't
hurt. Let your mouth be hurt too.
Right.
Your mouth should be on IR
exactly.
too. We
So
shouldn't be hearing
you're
it.
hurt. You're
No?
playoff Jimmy. You're not here for the playoffs.
liked it?
And then you're gonna tell us what you would have done.
I think that's
no,
something. Those
come on
are
now.
things. That's a
We're not
conversation you have
playing
behind
that.
closed doors. You don't bring it to the media. Because if he would have brought
Ego.
family business, if he would have brought family business out to the media himself as a player, he would have been called out by ownership and the fans. So when the owner calls out and says something in the media,
let's keep it real.
Okay.
I know one thing, and look, the star player treatment. There was a moment where I felt like I was a star, whether I was or not. I wasn't like national and billboards everywhere, but you couldn't go down to San Diego without it feeling good for me.
know that,
you know what I mean?
dude.
There was right.
Yeah.
And I remember, it's so weird. This is what changes from being the Buffalo backup to Bruce Smith to, oh, okay, now I'm starting and he's gone and I'm still not a star. And then you get the name, the contract. you want somehow in daily life that everyone acknowledges you. Forget the bank, forget the money. I want to do something that's different than y'all can do. So the flex comes out, right? So I remember this one moment. This is a moment I had to humble myself. We had chapel every Saturday night, you know, and this is ignorant. All right, so it starts at like 7 p.m. I'm late. Okay, nothing wrong. James is late today. And you. Nothing wrong, right?
It happens.
But I'm going to basically.
Hold up, where was he doing the light skin segment? Hold on,
He got freckles, too.
I need it back up. Wait a minute, man. Man, you making us look bad, bro.
And he European like too. That's that European like. That mayonnaise up in that sucker. Dog, in Europe they got the lightest and the darkest like black people. Dog, ain't no middle ground. Some of them soccer players be midnight. I'm like, damn, some dark haired dudes. All right, here we go.
Okay.
So I'm like, I know I'm late, and I got a Hummer convertible with bumps, like 415s or something crazy. I don't know what it was. And I did not turn down my music. I parked right in front of the chapel. It's right there on the other side of the facility. And literally walk in, and chapel's looking at me like this. And I was like, oh, sorry. So then I felt kind of weird. Went in the locker room, still Master P, shaking the whole building. Go in the locker room for like 5 minutes. Then go back to chapel, sit there for a sec, interrupt again, and then just walk out. Now, literally in that moment, maybe because it was God, I humbled myself, but I was like, they ain't gonna do nothing. And I was like, dang. Now, if they would have did something, I wouldn't have humbled myself. You know what I would have did? Responded to them not giving me some preferential treatment. I think because in that moment that Jimmy may have humbled himself, they called him out. He take the battle from within and take the battle out on Pat Riley. That's what I see from them stars. They don't want to get checked. They want to check themselves.
So, because everyone's talking about the private flights, so they said Jimmy took less than 5 private flights. 4 of those were in the finals when his dad was sick. Right. But what he wanted was, he wanted to go back on that private lifestyle and leave separate from the team. And Pat Riley's like, no, bro, like you can't. Who?
Pat Riley should say,
oh yeah, he checked him. He's like, no, you can't do that. I think the part that the Heat were irritated is, you can't be talking out of turn when you don't play. Like, you can't be on the sideline lobbing barbs at Jason Tatum like, oh, you know, if I was there, bro, you ain't playing. So like we got to wear this L. Yeah. Like you can't. Oh, if I was there, I could have. We've all been around dudes who, I mean, you know, Marcellus, you wouldn't have got that sack if I was out there playing.
Yeah. Ain't nothing worse. That's what I said. As a fan, it sounds different than as a teammate. As soon as I hear somebody who ain't bleeding, sweating, and crying with me, and they talking about what woulda, if, coulda, shoulda, I don't care if you're gonna help us or hurt us. Shut it. We are out there dealing with something different.
Once again,
you ever see fight videos on the internet, like on Reddit or something?
I watch them.
It's always the cats not fighting, telling the cats who are fighting what to do. Get up, no hair pulling, no pulling, no pushing. Let them up.
Come on, Floyd.
Right, you're not even fighting.
Yeah, I think Floyd's shoulder roll is working.
That's right. And
come on, Floyd, hit him.
If you're not fighting, sit on the sidelines and be quiet.
Here's the thing,
period.
man. As a member of the media, I love it. I love because this gives us something to talk about, right?
For sure.
Like that's our business.
Yeah.
The fact that y'all come out to the media and say it to the media, we love it. The players and the owners, the general manager calls out a player calls out ownership or whatever. That's something for us to talk about because it gets really mundane sometimes in the media.
Yeah.
But I understand in the locker room, there's a brotherhood, there's a family, and it's like, you don't want shit leaked to the media, right? So why are you bringing your drama to us when you could have kept that behind closed doors?
That's what I was gonna say.
Now, like as a media member, hey,
but who's the drama? Who you said Pat's the drama?
Pat's the drama because Jimmy didn't put it out public.
He could have gone to Jimmy like, hey, Jimmy, bro, we love you, man. We understand your passion. We understand your gym. Bro, just keep that quiet.
And that's to my point, and look, not to go psychoanalytical, but we all have been in relationships. We all have brothers, teammates. Whenever you do something out of code, usually it is displaced aggression, right? Like you really mad at your boss at work and you come home and your wife, you're like, what's for dinner? And she like, excuse me. And you're like, somebody punked you at work today. That's what she need to say, because you coming here real hot 100. And I was working too. So what's for dinner, dude?
All right, so family business is family business, Marcellus. Me and you got a little something in common, right? So what if you and Anne Marie get in an argument? Y'all got family business going on,
What,
right?
this morning or last night?
No, I'm just saying anytime. Anytime.
I stay on my wife's head.
And then me and my ex had family business we kept to ourselves, right?
Facts.
Then all of a sudden, them cameras get in front of you from housewife shit, right? And all of a sudden, she bring up some shit that y'all already talked about.
That we already did.
Or that, y'all already discussed.
Baby,
and all of a sudden, like, bitch, what the fuck you doing? We done talked about this shit. Hold on. Do you see all these goddamn cameras around here?
We already talked about
talked about this shit. Hold on. Take my goddamn mic. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
I do.
You looking at the camera like,
I do.
I know you didn't just ask me this on camera.
Yes. Yes.
did I make my point?
You made your point loud and clear.
All right.
I won't argue. Yeah, it's a time and place to say everything. But when you violate that, so you're right. But here's the thing. She went there because she wanted to send a bigger message than what she was just saying.
Did it make it better or worse?
Well, it depends on how you handle it. Because if some stars, they said that? Okay. Call my agent. Hey, man, you hear that stuff too? All right. All right, we're going to talk it out. We're going to handle this. And the next thing you know, we come out, peace and calm. You don't even talk about it again. You're like, damn, what happened to that story? And you can go on. Or, I'm about to buck back because I don't like what you're doing. I swear Pat Riley got tired of Jimmy Butler well before that playoff run. And he was just waiting for his moment like we all do in relationships. Snap on your ass on something else that ain't even the problem.
He snapped on him.
Yeah, he did.
I was going to talk about it in terms of he must have, as a GM or running the business side, there must have been some type of strategic angle to the trade, right? So if this beef wasn't happening out in the public, how would this trade look like? If losing Jimmy as the main guy, he's going to look like he's dropped the ball, right? So he has to maybe create or release it because he's been like that his whole career, right?
So he got to change the message and the narrative because if you lose Jimmy Butler, you're going to look like how Dallas feels. Like, we lost Luka. Like, everybody killing the GM for losing Luka, and he didn't properly wrap it. Like, Pat Riley wrapped it right. Like, Jimmy, you got to go. Like,
but at first he said he wasn't available, right?
He did.
At first he came out to the media when everybody knew that Jimmy Butler was being suspended. He said, we have no intentions on trading Jimmy Butler. That was his message. And then Jimmy's like, okay, you gonna trade me today, goddamn it. You know what I'm saying? You gonna trade me.
He went,
you know what I'm saying?
He went crazy.
Yeah.
But really the origin of this, Jimmy's frustration, was the fact that he wanted to get a contract. He could have got a contract last summer. He wanted an extension. They were like, nah, I'm not paying you. You just missed a bunch of games. I'm not paying you. Jim, it was about the bag. It wasn't about the disrespect or whatever. At the end of the day, it was about the bag. He wanted an extension that he got from the Warriors, and Pat Riley was saying, like he's done with all their older players. Dwayne Wade had to get up out of there. He got rid of Shaq. He got rid of Lonzo. Like, this is what they do.
But that works against Pat Riley, and I think the more he does that, the more it pushes away other free agents and talent from wanting to come there.
I don't think it does because those guys are all old and are washed, right? He didn't get rid of anybody in their prime.
He's okay breaking up with them.
Yeah, he okay. Like, this relationship dead.
Just because you don't get rid of somebody in their prime don't mean it was a bad move. Because him getting rid of Dwayne Wade at that time was still a bad move.
Really?
In regards to just, I feel like
LeBron got rid of him first.
Franchise.
LeBron left him first, and then Pat was like, "Oh, we dumping Dwayne." LeBron saw it first.
Well, I think LeBron had bigger sights.
Then LeBron broke up
he
with
was
him
going to get out of there regardless. I think he got out of there because LeBron never felt like that was his team. So he was always going to go at some point. He came there to get his rings, got them, and he's like, all right, I'm going to go do my own thing now.
Yeah.
You said it wasn't about the bag, it was about disrespect, right?
No, I said
it was about the bag.
So it's a bag.
Usually it is.
But isn't the bag about respect?
The bag is the best love language.
The bag
like,
is
that's how
about
you
the
speak to
respect.
me. How much
It's
you
the
love
same.
me? How much you give me?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
How much you like? And he's still is he still a prime player? There's a reason why Golden State gave him 2 years, $121 million.
Maybe.
He's still a prime. So
Golden State is desperate though, because they're
Golden
old.
State played it right to
Older
make
guys
Jimmy
are good.
happy so that they can make the playoff run come next year. We'll see this whole
Oh,
drama
he'll cut up.
unfold
He'll cut
again.
up.
So you're saying that the Warriors feel like they still have an opportunity to win championships,
This
where
year,
Pat Riley's like, you know what? We ain't gonna win with this team.
Not with him.
That's basically what he's saying.
And Golden State should think the same. I saw that lineup and they put it up there, big trade, and there's like, Steph, Draymond, and Jimmy Butler. And I'll say this respectfully as a competitor. What? Hell no. There's not a shot in hell that's going to do something.
But they didn't want
Give me something. Somebody tell me better. There's no way they're going to win with
I just want to say this real quick because you said that's who Jimmy is. But Jimmy has only done that when he's the guy at the situation. When he wasn't the guy, he always played his position. And going to Golden State, Steph is the guy.
Right.
So I don't think he's ever going to get out of character. Like when he was with Chicago and D Rose was D Rose. He was real quiet. He wasn't acting like that.
But like
it's only when D Rose left he did that.
He got his back, and by the time he cuts up again, he'll be 37, and no one's gonna put up with it.
Yeah, he's on his
right.
This was the last one. He had to get this one. This is the last.
There's another part of this, man. I'm huge on mental health too, as well. So I mean, a serious part of this whole situation is the man just lost his dad.
Oh, true that.
Last year too, right? So he's probably going through a host of emotions, a lot of attitude situations that he's going through. We don't know what's in his head right now. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and give him a little grace right now because of his behavior.
And I love that, and I'm giving you no grace. Because this is the thing, and this is going to sound maybe a little thornier than I wanted to, but that's the deal. The deal is whatever's going on in your world, you got to put that to the side, compartmentalize, and go out there and ball. And it's funny because Brett Favre lost his dad before a big Monday night football game, and people were like,
Raiders.
which way is he going to handle this?
He went off.
And he went off. And then you see some guys who got to tap out. And look, the thing is, whether hook or crook, you get out there and you do what you're supposed to do and be a professional about it, because you're not the only one who's losing someone. Like if you watch ESPN on any Saturday morning, you're gonna see your athlete who lost somebody, right?
Yeah.
Or some kid that was a Make-A-Wish. That's like, so you can't use that of, oh, I was acting crazy or acting different because of my pops. And he's like, you could have just talked to me. We could have just handled this. You could have easily came to me with that I feel instead of I know.
And I agree with that. And I wholly understand where you come, because you got to be a professional no matter what you're going through.
You can't go to work.
Like if I'm going through a divorce, which I've been divorced several times, you know what I'm saying?
Hold on, several or a couple?
3.
Oh, you the problem. You the problem.
You be the problem. I understand it. But
never trust a man looking like this, ladies.
but if I'm going through that, or if I'm going through the loss, like I lost my father when I was at ESPN. Right, and I would have liked, and I'm nothing against ESPN now, it's not being bitter or anything like that, but I would have liked a little bit more of love and grace and understanding how I was feeling.
In what ways? They turned the cameras on, the lights on.
I went to work. So the day I lost my dad, I found out I lost my dad. I was about to do first take that day, like 2 hours from it, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna do the show. I'm here. I'm gonna do the show.
Yeah.
Even though I lost my dad, I'm gonna go handle that. Ain't nothing I can do about it, right? So I did the show. Heavy heart. They told me I can go home and all that type of stuff like that. I went to the funeral. 3 days before the funeral happened, like I had been gone for like maybe 4 days or whatever. I'm getting phone calls. When you coming back?
Damn.
When you coming back? Not hey, how you doing? Not what's going on. So I don't know what Jimmy and Pat and the Heat organization and how they handle the situation.
Yeah.
All I know is that when I saw Starting 5 on Netflix, I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah.
I saw what Jimmy's father meant to him.
Right.
And he was close. They had that bond. And you don't know what kind of trauma is triggered when you lose a loved one, and you don't know how if people around you react a certain way or don't react a certain way, it can trigger you to become somebody that you're not.
Okay, so finish with that so we can get a little lighter hearted.
I'm sorry.
But let me say this.
Yeah.
I lost my mom when I was with Dallas. And I remember the next morning how I thought the world was going to be affected, because I knew how I felt. I was like, there's nothing worse. People were like, oh my God, because I was a mama's boy. And I woke up the next morning thinking the world's going to show me that my mama's gone. Like, y'all feel this with me.
All right, keeps on going.
Clear skies, sunny, normal LA day. And that told me one thing. Oh, this world going to keep spinning, so you better keep winning.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't go to Dallas and act up even though I felt different. I couldn't go to work and do anything different, even though, because everybody else is like, oh, sorry, dog. I'm about to go ball.
Right.
And you on this team too, to ball as well, because everybody got something that they dealing with. Obviously, not always to that magnitude.
I think this is really a very important conversation because you can kind of trace it back. And you guys kind of laughed at me when I said Jimmy was about everything else but basketball. He started pressing his hair. He started wearing his yellow and green stuff in his hair. He started acting different. And
That's after his dad died?
and this is after his dad died.
Okay.
And you
None
know,
of that before? None?
It was a little bit before.
Yeah, it
he
felt like a
started,
little
he's-
before.
but his dad was always kind
I
of.
never saw him with
the
with
emo phase.
69 hair. What's that rapper? 69.
Tekashi.
Tekashi 69.
yeah.
Looking like a rainbow.
Yeah.
But you're probably right, Mike. I think that's important. I think that maybe they didn't have the right conversations in Miami to help him deal with his trauma, and he didn't deal with it right, and they didn't deal with him right.
Yeah, I'm cutthroat though, man, because that's why you get the big bucks. Like, I really speak for people, because like, you know, everybody doesn't have a job that is a grown person playing a kid's game for $60 million.
Yeah.
But even beyond the money, it's the fact that I get up, go to work, I act crazy at my boss, I don't have a job tomorrow. So where do you become someone different than that? Because you're an athlete, because you dribble? Like, I don't think we should be given that grace. I think we still got to have some form of respect at work, no matter what you're dealing with. Because I could have had an argument with my wife. My wife could have told me, I'm going to leave you.
But take the superstar status aside. I want to talk about mental health, like what Mike said. We're all different, right? We're all human beings where Justin and I might have the same, we can talk about physical health disease. We have a cold, right? I might be in bed, shivering, dying. Justin's like, whatever, I'm going on with my life. We all handle illness differently. We don't know. Marcellus, you're probably tough. That's why you're saying I don't want to come off, you know, I forget what words you use, but you know, you being, like, for me, I would say, hey, maybe Jimmy needed that space. And like Mike said, ESPN should have asked, how are you doing? Do you need more time? Let us know what we can do versus get back in the, get back in camera. Get back. We need you. We're paying you for a reason. Everyone's different. Each one of us in here is.
But that's the conversation.
But on that point, when ESPN said that, I knew I had to get back to work, but at the same time, it did make me feel a certain way about it and made me look at them.
Yeah.
Like, you're not my family. You care about the bottom line. It's a business. Now, I understand it's a business at the end of the day, and I got to perform, and I got to do everything I need to do. But I've given you my blood, my sweat, and tears. All I asked you to do one time is like, hey, man, ask me how I'm doing. What am I going through at that particular time? And here's the thing, what I'll push back on you, it's like you getting paid a lot of money. But one thing that I hate about the fans, when I've been doing this for 30 years now, is that they feel like y'all don't have no emotions. Feel like y'all don't have no feelings. Like you just get out there, dribble, play, you getting paid all that money. You're not human because you're superhuman. You are heroes. We don't give a damn what you're going through. As long as you're out there on that football field on Sunday, play for in love of in memory of your mom that just passed away, your dad that just passed away. Sometimes, man, we have to take a step back and realize that, hey, even though you're getting all this money, even though you're superhuman, even though you got your athletic tendencies are far greater than anybody else that's on the face of this earth, you still have a heart that ticks just like everybody else around here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I love this conversation. I thought we was going to get on, but let's stay here. Hell no. I'm going to tell you why. When you cross, look, let me be real.
Okay.
It's just like this. Let me give you a light, loose example. Some guys got to stretch. Some guys got to warm up hella hard. Some guys got to have damn near another coach for 2 hours before the game, play a game, and then go play the game, right? And there's some guys just walk out there, turn their hat around, let's go to war. I don't care how you get. When you cross the white, when you cross that line, you giving me your all or don't cross it. What Jimmy did is try to create a third lane. It's either A, cross it, be all in, B, don't cross it. Your dad, they will give you time away. But what you're not going to do is come across disaffected because of that. You should have stayed back there. And that's how I would run a company.
But it's not just about the act itself. It might be the reaction to the act. It might be his dad died. How did the Heat organization treat him as family? Did they look at him as an employee or as plan? That's my whole thing. I understand, you lose people, life happens, shit happens in life, and you got to get back up on that horse, and you got to make things happen. I'll give you a prime example of somebody who was affected by a loss. Michael Jordan. When his dad lost, when he lost his dad.
To your point, to my point, he didn't play.
But
he's like, I'm not crossing the white.
But it still affected him a lot.
Oh, no. It's going to affect you.
Yeah.
But you can't rob what you're supposed to do because you're affected.
But if the person, like, I understand on rob, but you will look at certain people differently, man. If all of a sudden, like, you got friends, and heaven forbid anything happen to anybody's family, but if you lose a child or something like that, say something like that, and then the person who employs you doesn't care for you as a person, but they look at you as an employee, you're going to look at them differently. You're going to go to work, but you're going to look at them.
They're going to be like, look, when your mama died?
This.
Okay, when the funeral? All right, I'll see you the day after, right?
Wow.
I mean, y'all are both right.
Yeah,
I mean,
what we doing?
It's two different sides of the coin, but both right. A perfect example of that in the middle is when Isaiah Thomas, the younger one, lost his sister. He came out. He did his job. He knew what he was there for. You could see that he was clearly going through it. But he showed up and he performed. But on the flip side of that, as he did his job, the Celtics went out of their way to like appease him and comfort him and make sure that he felt like this is a family here. We're looking out for you. He didn't have to play that day.
Right.
But even if you look at prior to the game starting, he was sitting on the sideline like crying, going through it. And you had coaches and staff sitting there with their arm around him, like comforting him. So to your point, it's like I feel like that does make a difference. But as a play, he still showed up for business. I think there's got to be a happy medium there.
And I'm not saying, I'm just speculating. I don't know. I don't know if the Heat could have
we don't know what they did. I don't want to indict the Heat, but this is one thing I'm going to also say. I don't care how many hugs and kisses you give me, and I know they're coming from the best place. And this is amazing. Mama gone. Like, so I don't read the room in terms of how much comfort I need from this, because this ain't going to come from me the way I need to be. The way you really want to help me is bring mama back. You ain't? It's okay. I get it. I am an employee. I never lost sight of that, so you don't have to remind me. Like, that's how I look. But I know. I'm in the minority. I'm pretty cutthroat. I'll show up to work. Either I'm not going to go. I tell the kids all the time, it's like, you cross some white lines, I don't want to hear it.
That is also pro culture, though. That is also like people will tell you, like, nobody cares. Like, at the end of the day, like, when they kick it off, when they tee it up, they jump it, nobody cares at that moment. And so if Jimmy decides that he's in, he has to be all in. I think the frustration came from you in or out. And I think the Heat are very black or white when it comes to it. You're in or you're out. If you're out, cool, but just be out. But don't come in and say I'm in, but then act like you're out with your actions. And
in the Bible, be hot or cold, not lukewarm. I'll spit you out my mouth.
I get it. Both want fuck because Jimmy still got to be a professional. He still got to be a professional. But like, Gene, you've been married.
Big pause button.
Pause.
You can't pause the Bible.
Pause. In Jesus' name, pause.
Big pause. You talking about swishing things around in your mouth and all that.
Man.
You got to pause that.
We got to give some more love. There's other trades. I'm not talking to y'all no more. Y'all want to talk about the Lakers trade? Did y'all care? Like,
I do.
All right.
Which one? We talking about Luka? We talking about?
No, we over Luka. We already know how amazing, how big that was. But they just made another one with Connect and
We not talking about
Williams,
Dalton Connect.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Oh, what say what?
They traded Dalton Connect.
He's a little beast though.
You saying that like that's a bad thing? That's you said you saying Dalton Connect like he's a scrub.
Yeah, he was a baller.
I'm not saying that like he's a scrub.
But I'm gonna tell y'all right now that the Laker fans, that's gonna be that y'all gonna regret that shit right there.
Oh yeah, that's y'all SGA.
Y'all going to regret. Tell them about it.
SGA,
you're a Clippers fan.
No, I ain't saying he's gonna be that good. You're gonna have regret. Like you look when we traded away SGA, we don't like that, but we gotta do that.
At least you got Paul George back.
But we got Paul George back. But y'all one day y'all gonna look up the Dalton Connect gonna be an all-star. You'll be like, damn, we
y'all gave that.
But he ain't gonna be SGA, I don't think. But he's a beast.
Dalton Connect is a bad
He's a beast.
Boy. I love.
Yeah, he's a beast.
But this comes back to what I was saying about Rob Pelinka. Why make that move? Especially for somebody
you needed a big. You needed a big.
Well, he doesn't play.
Here go argumentative ass. You need a center.
He doesn't play.
He's not healthy.
So what? But he does play.
Mike, wait, listen to this. Mike, what was that stat? What was that stat you told me?
Williams has played less than 40% of the games he's eligible to play since he's.
He didn't like it in Charlotte.
So you
mom and daddy died.
You traded a injury-prone center for a more injury-prone center, but the difference is he's young, right?
Thank
And so he's somebody that if he can't stay healthy, he is a much improved
Luka
player.
doesn't play a lot
averaging
either,
16
right?
points
Yeah,
a
but
game,
what's
9
what's the history with centers who can't stay healthy?
Oh, yeah.
Do they get healthy?
No.
That is
when
not.
do they get healthy?
You cannot run that reference without saying, but when they're around LeBron, Luka got here because he's been drinking too much, eating too much. Give him, send him to LeBron. We got a center can't stay healthy. Send him to LeBron. Whatever LeBron does, and there's speculation of all sorts. Whatever it is, it works. I just went to the Laker Clipper game. They drug us, dog. LeBron at 40.
He ain't human.
First of all, his girth, like he ain't.
One of the biggest dudes you ever see in your life.
Yes, and it ain't old man fat yet.
Nope,
He ain't
nope.
got that jelly and stuff yet.
Nothing.
And he is quick as all them other dudes.
Yep.
Closing out on them, running up and down the. Yo, whatever that program is, Luka gets some of that. Williams gets some of that.
So Luka.
Wait, so what
Luka's gonna go to
program
Fat
are you
Man.
saying it is?
well, a lot of it's up here. Stop. Don't go there. I don't suggest guys
Don't do that. Don't do that. No.
Because even if you do that, see, that's the misnomer about it. Even if you do HGH, I had teammates that did that. I never did it. Steroids, you gotta work. All it does is give you recovery.
Sure.
So you gotta. So
You still got to do all the
you
work.
still gotta do all the work.
Guess
This
it-
man spends $1 million a year just on his physical
Wait,
fitness.
how did we get on LeBron's physical and we talking
Well,
about
we talking about
we talking about a
We talking
center
about somebody
who
staying
can't
healthy.
stay healthy?
But that's
That's
get
a
around
bad
LeBron.
trade.
We
gonna
get
put him-
protocol.
we
You
gonna
get
put him
a
on the-
different regime.
LeBron
Regimen.
playing.
When is LeBron gonna have time to babysit all these dudes?
He's not babysitting.
Now
He's
he's
gonna
got to get Luka in shape. He's got to get Williams in shape. Who else has he got to get in shape?
Well,
See,
it's the
that's-
Breakfast Club.
Yeah, that's what
it's the
I'm saying.
Breakfast Club.
You work out at 5:15. Show up.
Show up.
Show up.
Show up, Luka. Luka, you got to put the beer down.
Yep.
Yeah. Show up.
You can't
Now
have
you're
the beer
around
the
a
day of the
professional.
game. Yeah, you got to
See, that's the difference in
By
generations. In your generation, your daddy like, look, boy, you want to play some basketball? You better go outside by
your ass
yourself.
outside.
Like,
Man,
now we out there dribbling with our kids.
Yep.
I've never seen a center get healthier
Well, I mean, I think
over the course of his career.
That's a tough trivia question, but I'm.
I mean, come on, y'all.
I don't think
Joel
he's
Embiid,
20.
but
He's low
that's
20s.
a bad example because Joel Embiid early on was always hurt, but then he got better.
and then
became
he's-
an
and then
He's
He's
still
always
always hurt. What do you
falling
mean?
down all the
Yeah,
time.
I mean, but he became
didn't
an
play
MVP.
yesterday,
But
Mike.
he became an MVP of the league. He
because
became
he
became
whined
an
and
all-pro.
begged for it. That's why.
I'm just-
it should have gone to Jokic.
But
he whined.
he was
and
an MVP
begged,
candidate. He
and
was
got it.
worthy.
Well, it works.
Yeah.
I'll give you some of that. All right, let's transition. We gave 35 minutes to one NBA trade. That's good, though. We had some amazing conversations in there. Freezing cold takes. I think Mike Hill knows about that. Obviously, Bucky.
Yeah.
You guys may know as well. But, like, as we're doing it right now, we're giving some freezing cold takes.
Yeah.
Like, we're Kansas City, they're going to get blown out in the Super Bowl. Okay, good luck with that. Yeah. All right, but so there's this thing out there where you feel the energy of just gotta profess with your chest, this was gonna happen. Look, one came up for me. I said the Chiefs dynasty was gonna end in 2022 when they won the Super Bowl, then they lost the AFC Championship game. I said it's a wrap. No more of this Super Bowl talk for them. Hey, they won 2 and on their 3rd potentially this weekend. Give me some freezing cold takes you've done and how you respond to others' freezing cold takes.
This is the one that continues to haunt me. So we were doing a segment on NFL Network, and it was a thing when Lamar Jackson they hadn't picked up his 5th-year option yet, and they hadn't signed him to a deal. And it was the same year that Justin Fields was in the draft. And I said that if the Baltimore Ravens are going to continue to run the offense like they're doing, they should let Lamar Jackson graduate and draft Justin Fields.
Oh my, that's bad.
But
that's big. That's the hot ice. You ever touch hot ice and your finger gets stuck? That's frozen.
Once a week, that thing comes up in my Twitter timeline. But it wasn't something that I said. It was a question that was lobbed to me, and I was like, "Well, if we're gonna treat this like,
Bucky,
but no one cares.
Don't
no
worry.
one cares.
No, cross the white lines. No one cares.
No one cares." And so I'm stuck with that.
Why? Why did you
is-
say that? No, seriously. Like you had a choice of saying no. Let's just let Lamar. You didn't like Lamar the player enough at that time.
I don't think he had won his first MVP yet, and they were running the offense where I was worried about. It might have been
No, because he won.
No.
He won it.
He won
when
his
he
third
won.
year or something
Third
like
year.
that.
So it was after he got knocked out and concussed in Buffalo.
Okay.
And he looked bad in the playoffs.
Yeah.
He looked bad in the playoffs, and I was like,
This is what
$50 million quarterback. He's running around. I don't know. They don't win in the playoffs.
Man,
they shrink.
You can't go
And I was
nowhere
like-
where black people live. I know.
That's a
And
last
so, and so I was like, if the Baltimore Ravens are a real one, they should let him graduate and draft Justin Fields and plug him into that same offense and let him run around and do whatever.
I'm glad you ain't the GM.
I thought we were going to have something to laugh at. That's some horrible.
Here's the
criminal.
But
In
you know
his
what? A lot
intro-
of people felt the way he felt back in the day.
I did hear it.
They did,
I'm just clowning. I did hear it.
to go play wide out, but I said let him graduate.
Look at you trying to kick Bill Polly down.
Hey, if I'm going down, somebody got to go down with
Come
me.
here, Bill.
Oh, wow.
But wait, real quick, in his intro, you always say 12 years in the NFL, what, 7 years in the front office?
Yeah.
Was you using that front office knowledge when you made that decision?
Ooh,
Yeah, I was. I was like, you can't be scared to make a move, just like Nico. You can't be scared to move off somebody. It's better to move off of them 1 year early than 1 year late. Hey, they still ain't won a Super Bowl. They still ain't got to a Super Bowl.
Hey, the pastor says slow to hire and quick to fire.
Yeah.
So like when I see it, I'm on it. Like you got to go. And that's maybe not the best way to do it. Freezing cold takes. I know you've said some things over the 30 years.
You know, first of all, they always find your freezing cold takes, but they never look at your hot takes.
Yeah, true.
They never,
That
you know,
part.
you know
That
this.
part.
You say something like I was.
Yes,
only,
they do. Your hot takes are called employment. Let me stop.
But at the same time, they don't want to give you credit for it, man. Like I remember when at the beginning of the season, college football season, I'm an AP voter, so I gave Colorado a vote.
That's big.
So I got them in the top 25 after they had the 4-win season last year. And I got fucking harassed. Like, you just because you like Dion, you're prime, because you're black, all that. So that was a hot take. They were top 25. Anyway.
Yeah.
My freezing cold take was, I said Johnny Manziel was going to revolutionize the game of football. I said,
Smoke weed every day.
I was on the America's pregame. I was like, this guy has the name, the nickname. He got the swagger. He got the game.
The pregame shows get you to get
America's pregame. Man, I was like, yeah, man. I said, Johnny Manziel, bank it. I said, bank it.
Oh.
Johnny Manziel's gonna
You
revolutionize.
looking at the camera? Bank it.
Bank it. Yeah.
Bankrupt.
that shit is bankrupt right now. Yeah.
Damn, Manziel was a bad. Look, a lot of people. You, Skip Bayless, talking about he gonna be bigger in Cleveland than LeBron.
Bruh.
Like, look,
Tebow, he was on Tebow heavy.
he was on Tebow heavy. A lot of people are on Tebow. Tebow's a tough one to have a cold take on because with opportunity, he actually got results, even though it didn't look pretty all the time, etc. So it was weird. And then Tebow comes up again with Lamar Jackson. Like, they asked Lamar to play receiver. That's like racism. They asked Tebow to play, and he did play all them positions.
Tight end, yep.
What is that? That ain't no racism. They just like, dog, I don't see it in you all the time. What about y'all? What cold takes you've said or you've heard?
Well, usually I'm right. So
This dude, you still wearing 97 Bulls hats. You ain't been right in a while.
I represent winning. That's what this is.
Zach
I
Levine
think the
gonna take us
craziest
to the
thing I
championship.
said, as I said, that KD would never win a ring, which technically he didn't. But, you know what I'm saying? Technically he did
wanna
not.
fight. He know those fight words over here.
Technically he did
He
not.
know KD, my dude. Don't do
But
that.
if we're going to go on paper,
Who was better than him and Steph when they played in Golden State? That part. Thank you. Who won Finals MVP? That part.
as you ask all those questions, who had a ring before he got there and after? That
Them.
part.
But you
that
ain't-
part.
but you might have had two.
3-win team before he got there.
Who's the one that beat him that made him run there? Steph.
But you may have not won the two in between without him. Y'all went begging for him
Still
for a
had
reason.
one.
Yeah.
KD would have had none.
But okay, this is to my point. If you got one before me, you better, and you get one after me, you better. How come when we play together, you wasn't better?
Because I wanted you to get
No,
yours.
I
wanted you to get yours.
There has never been somebody in
They took
sports
a
that
back
says.
seat.
There has never been a professional
about to catch
player
you right here.
in sports that on purpose took a back seat. The game
Stand
that you
on that.
take.
Stand on that right there now. D Wade, who already had a ring when LeBron came there. No.
No, that is a lie.
When LeBron
That's
came
a
there,
lie.
they was having friction how they were playing because
Yes.
they both won the ball.
Yes.
D Wade went to him and said, "Hey, I'm gonna take a step back. This your team.
Like-
You lead the ship." He already had his ring. He knew LeBron wanted to get his.
How about this? I think his name is Tisdale. I think it's a light-skinned coach.
Dwayne Tisdale.
Is that him? Light-skinned coach with the Heat.
The light Fizdale. David Fizdale.
With
He was
the
there.
Memphis Grizzlies and New York Knicks.
He was there. Here's the real story. Dun, 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 dun. He said they were in practice, and one day they were looking at LeBron, like, LeBron, what are you doing? And LeBron like, what? He was like, stop deferring. You know this is your.
I heard that too.
You know this is your team, and because it was said publicly but in private to all the team, that was the moment LeBron was like, oh, it's okay to be who I am. He was deferring to Dwayne. Dwayne didn't take a back seat. What I'm saying is, when Kobe was with Shaq, Kobe could have did everything in his power to be better than Shaq. He wasn't going to be better than Shaq. When Steph saw Durant, you could have tried all you wanted. Durant was that dude. And especially defensively. Don't forget when the Clippers almost gave y'all that burn because Steph Curry was getting boxed in.
I'm not a Warrior fan.
Getting boxed in. So there's not an athlete. You can't name an athlete. Pippen couldn't outdo Jordan, even though he was damn close. There's not an athlete that ever says backseat. That's a lie. That means you're just not as good as the other dude.
Well, we've heard these players. I mean, I get you heard one story, but I definitely remember them back then. They both said they had to sit down and have a conversation with each other. We was like, hey, I know this is Wade County.
Yes.
But this is you.
You're making
like,
my point. Why would you ever have a conversation if you're better than me and this is your home?
But that's two different conversations. Just because you better. So, like, Steph is better than Draymond, but Draymond is still like the alpha, still the leader of that team. Just because you better than somebody doesn't mean that you're not steering the ship. Like,
I disagree.
That was Steph's team. He came there because he wanted to win.
Yes.
Steph was already a winner.
Right.
So he didn't have to prove that anymore. He already got his chip. When KD came there, he definitely took a back seat to let KD thrive.
Or
we all seen it. We watched it in real time.
No, he was already getting minimized. He was already getting compromised.
He's a point guard. He got the ball in his hand the whole game.
You don't know why they begged him. They said we need help defensively and we need another scorer to get this off of Steph.
That's true.
And you know what? That ain't no. I'm taking the back seat. He's like, help! I'm about to drown out here. That's what that was.
But you also got to be willing to take the back seat if
True.
you're leading a team.
That's what was happening in Miami.
We talked about like part of being a leader is not having that big of an ego.
Right. I love that.
We talk about ego, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't have that ego, if Steph says this is my team, regardless of who's here, they're not going to win. So Steph, as the leader of the team, as the face of that team, even if he's not the leader or the best player on the team, he's still the face of the team, and everyone acquiesces to him. He has to say, you know what? Hey, for the betterment of the team, I'm going to let you be the number one option.
Yeah.
I'm not let you, but hey, you are the number one option. And the same thing with Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade had won a championship with the Heat already.
Yeah.
LeBron gets there. LeBron obviously is a better player than Dwayne Wade.
And Kevin Durant is obviously a better player than Steph Curry.
Kevin Durant's better player than
Say it. That's all I want to hear. That's all I need.
It depends on what you like.
who you ask.
Depends on what you like and who you ask, like you said. But at the same time, that was Steph's team. No matter who was
True.
on that team,
I agree with that.
That was Steph's team. That was the.
But that's never a conversation of you. I'm giving you the keys unless you're going to take the keys. Like, no one is dangling the keys unless they know he can come get these keys.
But that person has to have respect and understand the game and say, hey, you know what? Hey, he's better than me.
Right.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
And that's flip before you go. And the flip is LeBron had the respect too. I'm not going to take them keys from you, but you know those are my keys. And KD was like, I ain't going to. So KD and Steph did it even smoother than Dwayne and LeBron did. Because they got to have all these meetings and coaches calling them out. Because the keys are dangling because this is your team. But you know, in the dog-eat-dog world, those are my keys. I'm just letting you hold them because you've been here longer. And that's all I saw in Golden State.
But I mean, he hit the nail on the head. It's
Who, me? Or him?
no, because we speaking the same language here. I mean, he said it. I mean, let me change that. You don't always have to say it.
Yeah.
The fact that everybody knows it's your team, just you taking that step back without saying it shows that you're willing to do it. That's you passing the torch or handing it off to the other person. That's just as the leader of the team, the rest of your players are gonna see that.
Oh yeah, that's the funniest part.
That sets the tone.
We all looking like, no, this is LeBron team.
When you went to the Chargers, right?
Yeah.
You said you was that guy.
Yeah.
You was a man on defense, right?
No, Junior Seau.
Junior Seau was he was still in his prime at the time?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So when was he not in his prime?
So let's say you go to the Chargers, you know you that guy, everybody's giving you all that kind of love or whatever. It's still Junior's team. He's been there forever.
Yeah.
Junior has got to say, hey man, I want you to eat. I want you to eat.
Yeah, yes, he does. So we can keep it PC.
Yeah.
But I wasn't as threatening as LeBron. Like our games weren't close enough. He was still better than me.
Right.
So I get your example though. If I were like, if Bruce Smith would have came, like, then that would have been a conversation they had to have. But it was like, oh, Marcellus, really nice what you're doing. You're gonna be great for us. You're a star in your own right. But this is my squad. You know that, right? And I'm like, yeah, of course. Right. Can I have some? Can I have some burn? You know what I mean? So it was not the same. It's not analogous, but it's close.
Well, how does that play out in a professional sports game, though? If it's Steph's team, I mean, it's whoever is playing the best during the competition, right? So you can't. Steph's not gonna not take his shots.
Yeah, this ain't no honorary award. Like,
right.
People acting like, oh, he just gave it to him because he already had a championship and he felt bad. No. It's the jungle. Dog, we go to practice.
Durant just outplayed
Durant
him.
Wet, and they like, y'all better figure this out.
Right.
That guy
Steph didn't say, here, I have an open jumper, you try.
Yeah, your turn.
Junior Seau didn't say, I got this sack, you take it.
Jordan was shooting all them shots until he get triple team. All right, Kerr. All right, Paxson. He taking them shots.
I think the locker room knows.
Yeah.
I think there's a pecking order. Like everyone, like I'm surprised to hear people talk about a conversation. It's not a conversation. You really are looking at practice and watching games. You're like, oh, he's the dude.
That's
like,
the one.
Okay, like the ball goes here, and you look sideways if the coach is like, hey, we're gonna draw the player for you, Mike, when he's the better player. Everyone's like,
yeah,
coach, what we doing?
Yeah.
And in the pros, if we draw the player for him and the ball ends in his hands, he ain't getting it. He's gonna shoot it.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
right.
That's right.
That's
So
the
it's not
difference.
taking a back seat.
That's what I said. No one ever takes a back seat. You get put in the back.
You can still be the face of the team and not be the best player on your team.
Yes.
That's what I said.
There's a face of the team, and that's his team.
Yeah.
But he's not the best player on the team, and he's not the number one option.
Yeah, you got the master bedroom, but I'm paying the mortgage.
You've been here for a long time. It's like,
and that's how Golden State was.
That's how Golden State was. You're right.
Steph was the face,
yeah,
but KD was the one at the end of the game. Because I remember those finals, it was KD hitting these wing threes, bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
That's taking them back to our world. At one time, when Skip Bayless was on First Take all the time, right? He was the head of First Take.
He was the guy.
Who comes in there?
Stephen A. came in there hot.
All of a sudden, it's like, okay, Skip's got to have to start acquiescing. Still Skip.
Yeah.
For the most part, it was Skip's show.
Yes.
Even Stephen A. would say it's Skip's show.
Yeah.
And then Stephen A. came and everybody knew that Stephen A. was better than Skip.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Same thing with Shannon and Skip. Same thing.
Yeah, we saw that.
The shine pops up.
Yeah,
like
we saw
everyone
that.
knows it's Skip's show.
Yep.
But everyone is looking at everyone's looking at Shannon like, oh, okay.
Yep.
And that can be hard.
It can be hard.
I would say that's the perfect example.
When the egos
That's the perfect example because if Skip had played his cards right, he had to start it, but all he had to do is give him some shine. Let him stay, man. We all eat, so I don't need to.
Yeah. It's crazy because in sports, the thing that was my first tale was when I was like in Pop Warner and coach used to say, all right, everybody, huddle up. And he'd be like, all right, today we need to go out there and play our best. We need this win. And then he kept talking. And the we will only be me. And I'll be like, damn, I got to score all the touchdowns.
Yeah.
And like you start to realize, like, I mean, everybody's been in that star position where you're like, you talking to everybody, but you're really talking to him. And that's what it becomes because the plays are drawn up on purpose.
And that's what's hard. And that's what's hard with all of it because, like, we would like to think it's a democracy. Like, hey, you get a shot and you get a shot or whatever. But, like, it's not that. The only thing you're guaranteed on the team is you're on the team. But the best coaches have a way of figuring out, like, yeah, we're on a team, but this is what you do. You make sure he gets all the shot.
Right. Your job,
and then my job as the coach is to make sure that when it gets out of source, we call the timeout. Hey, man, quit shooting. He needs to shoot. Like, that's how it has to be. But a lot of times we're not honest because no one wants to be told, hey, man, I know you think you're the guy, but you're not really the guy. You're not really the guy.
You got to take care of their feelings. Cross that white line, dog. Look, it's going to determine itself. I don't even, as a coach, I'll be like, I ain't even got to say nothing. Go out there and play. Now, everybody, get a piece of paper. Write down who balled the hardest. Go, give it to me. LeBron. Thank you. Okay, give it to me. Kevin Durant. Okay, that's fine. Y'all take back seats. Like, I think that was cosmetic in messaging so Wade County could continue. LeBron literally left the Wayne Wade for Kyrie Irving. He was like, dog, look at that young dude out there eating.
That's what he does, though.
Yes.
Oh,
Don't connect those now. So any more freezing cold takes y'all said or heard, or do y'all judge people, or does that hurt their credibility? Because I mean, you're taking so many shots on goal, you're gonna miss more.
It's like gambling.
Yeah,
You ain't gonna win every
They want to hear
time.
your opinion.
Yeah.
I didn't think Tom Brady was going to do well in Tampa Bay.
That was me.
You and Max Kellerman. Let me stop.
I
He
might
gonna fall off a cliff.
I felt
Max said he gonna fall off a cliff 5 years ago.
man, I got one of the worst.
I can't help it. I'll say it. I thought Jeremy Lin was going to be the man.
Oh, I mean, from
was for a
I'm
moment.
about to say,
I'm a Knicks fan, bro. I loved him.
dog, he had him a moment.
Yeah, he had a
Hey,
moment.
From Harvard,
run.
a run.
Hey, run.
He got a little contract out of it.
I might have run the same time you said that thing on Tom Brady. I think it might have been on the show.
On
me,
Speak
you
for
and
Yourself?
Whitlock. I might have said that he was the worst quarterback in the playoffs that year. I think I might have said
Blasphemous.
I think I might have
Then he
said
went and put a
worst.
chip on him.
When Boogie go wrong, he go wrong.
Right, yeah. So he-
Hey, Buck, I had a hard time watching. I was like, ooh, I was dead ass wrong.
Yeah.
Okay,
Boy.
I got some mild takes, like the ice is melting, but it ain't freezing cold. I thought Baker Mayfield was shot, and I told him this. I saw him last year at
that's
the
right, you
honors.
said
I was like, I'm so sorry.
Oh, we should tear him up. We should tear him up.
I was like, Baker, you shot, and I was like, oh, he ain't shot.
Baker's
So
yeah.
Baker balling is great. I mean, people who tell me that Michael Jordan is the GOAT, that's a great conversation and starter. But why, I keep hearing it, LeBron has got to have the same kind of GOAT card, or there it is. See, that's it.
Well, I don't understand the whole thing, right? Because like with Michael Jordan, we talk about ring culture, but then why don't you give the same thing to like a Bill Russell? Why don't we talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? They're older than us.
Yeah.
But then with LeBron, it's always like, but I just know I saw LeBron take some raggedy teams to the finals.
I mean,
It's
dragging
just-
them.
It's that Pop Warner thing that you said. Coach is like, hey, we got to do this. LeBron, we got to do this. We got to fix it. So I feel like
but
our
LeBron
expectations
and Michael
are-
Jordan, when it came to teams, they
Yeah, I
were in
wanna
the
say
same
something to that.
situation, bro. It was like
Were they?
every
Who was
team
the
LeBron
pitcher?
had, he had somebody with him.
When they
He's
say
had more
win,
All-Stars.
He had Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, he had more.
That's the only time they won. But I'm saying
Yeah,
that
Anthony
first team
Davis.
against Mo Williams. No disrespect,
Talking
Mo.
about winning.
But he didn't win. But he didn't win with them.
Gibson.
Winning.
But he didn't win with them.
Marcellus.
He didn't.
Didn't he have Bergeau?
I mean,
But wait, real quick, because Bucky, I just want to say this because you brought up, you said, oh, with Jordan we only talk about rings, and with LeBron is everything else. With Jordan, you talk about the rings and all the stats. Like Bill Russell and them, they had rings, but their stats wasn't.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
Kareem
that-
got points, but across the board, their stats wasn't matching up to Mike. And the difference with Mike and LeBron is, and I said this before, Mike still has stats now that LeBron
And I'm
is
true.
chasing,
I'm
and he
actually-
did it
I'm
in a
actually-
shorter time.
True.
I'm actually okay with the Jordan thing. The one that I can't rock with, y'all can get mad. I can't rock with the Kobe comparison to LeBron.
Oh,
Because I
So,
don't think. Because I don't think.
please, let me just
because
say
I don't.
this. I gotta get in there.
because
I gotta
don't
say
think
this.
it's-
I am
because I don't think
with
I don't
you.
think-
I'm like,
I
dog.
don't think it's the same.
Well, you think
Like
Kobe's better, or you think LeBron's better?
Hell no.
Yeah,
Like
no.
Kobe is a hired gun to shake shots. Like that's what he did.
False.
He didn't make the team better because I saw him with them raggedy ass
False.
teams. When they were going to trade, I saw the Lakers
Oh,
were
five.
terrible
Yeah.
when he was making all the money.
LeBron never been on a-
rings.
He got five of them
No,
things.
see, but there we
And
go.
two of them
Ring
was with a
culture.
team that wasn't that
No,
good.
he had Shaq with them
Two
early.
of them were with a team that wasn't that
Oh,
good.
no, don't say that. Pau Gasol.
That's all he had. I mean, he had
Bynum.
Lamar Odom. They was
Favor.
the top
Artest,
3 or 4 was
yeah.
good, but
Andrew Bynum.
after the first 4, it gets
Well, look,
shaky.
I mean, how many you need? Like everybody
You need a
said, the
team.
big three.
You
No,
need a team.
LeBron didn't have a team. He had a.
Listen, I got one question for you. Real quick, you think who's better, Mike or LeBron?
Mike is better than LeBron.
Who's the closest thing to Mike?
No, see,
No, let's not jump the gun. Let's not
Too
jump the
far
gun.
from Mike.
No, but who's the closest to Mike?
We're talking about one-dimensional. Yeah, Kobe takes a lot of shots, and Kobe's
Nah.
a scorer. Absolutely, he's a great scorer.
He wasn't a great
And a
defender.
great defender.
Great defender.
He's not
Great.
a team player.
But wait,
he's
just-
not a team.
you limited
player.
him to one
All
thing. You said great scorer.
I'm talking
Was he a
about
great defender?
all-around player. LeBron is a better all-around player than Kobe ever was.
LeBron is a better all-around player than anybody's ever played in the NBA.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't make you the best.
All-around player. There's never been a specimen better than LeBron James, man.
Yeah.
And,
Is it-
And he's
Mike,
more determined than anybody in the world to hold on to their hairline.
No. I'm gonna give you an example.
We have to be talking about
No.
player. We're not talking about
No,
score
that's not true. I'm
and
gonna tell you
killer.
why that doesn't apply. Because you can be really good at a lot of things, or you can be great at a couple things.
So we're saying
Jordan and
really
Kobe were
good.
great.
You're saying Kobe
at a
better than
couple
LeBron?
things. I personally feel like
Not
he
even
is.
close.
In real
It's just
time,
a
I watched it, and I'm like, I'm taking Kobe over.
No wonder we have not gone to a basketball game together. We've done a lot together.
No, because you a Clipper fan. That's why we haven't gone.
Kawhi is better than. Let me stop.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
You don't believe that?
Kawhi better than Kobe?
I'm not gonna do it. No, I'm not gonna do it.
If you had said KD, I would talk about KD being better than Kobe.
No, KD won't even tell you.
I can't go there. And KD, my guy.
KD's not better than Steph.
No, KD better than Steph.
No, I don't think so. At this point in time, we look at career.
We're doing freezing cold takes right now, guys.
Let me tell y'all something, man. There has never been a time where, like, if you're a Jordan fan or a Kobe fan or a LeBron fan, you're never going to convince the other person. Yeah. You can argue,
Yeah, that's
scream,
true.
yell.
I am losing my
This is
voice.
a debate that's been
I am
going
losing
on
my
for
voice
15
hearing this.
years.
I'm with you there.
You will never convince. I could have all
Hey.
I could chat GBT this shit right now and give you a whole dissertation of why Michael Jordan's better.
I think it's only escalated after his tragic death. I think y'all are holding on.
Oh,
to
no,
the
no,
myth.
we gave
I
him
think
that
it's
credit before
escalated.
that.
I think it's
We
gone
was
to
not-
another
Yes,
Before
you
that.
did give
You
him
know
that
what?
credit. You giving him
Before
more.
that, I said Kobe was better than LeBron way before he died.
No, I get it.
Not skill standpoint. I think the likability standpoint.
Oh, yeah,
Like
'cause he
everybody
wasn't-
started liking Kobe after his death.
Because they didn't like him. They didn't like him when he was
but
playing.
they like Kobe.
No
when
one
he played.
didn't like him when he was playing.
Well, not
He quit
after he
playing.
retired.
After
He
he
became
retired,
when he
yeah.
retired. He started coaching the girls,
The girl, yeah.
and he started doing all the other stuff.
He became
and you're
human.
like,
Yes,
man,
humanized.
man,
Human.
Let's be honest. You're like, man, if he wasn't such an asshole when he played, I probably could have got down with him.
Yeah,
But
you know, there was a moment
And he wouldn't have won.
Kobe used to come on our show all the time, and we, stayed in touch. And there was a moment I went to a game, and he was signing shoes on the bench, and I said, "When did you start doing that?" And he was like, I ain't tripping no more." And that was his last year. So that transition last year, you saw a whole looser Kobe.
Yep.
Then Girl Dad took off.
Girl
and then
Dad,
coaching and stuff. Like he showed a different side in
Yep.
his books. He started having all these seminars, all the books. Dude wrote so many different books. So respect to that, but there was a little extra syrup poured on that pancake for that. I mean, look.
No, listen.
After he died.
Kobe was such an ass at one point. We were at the GQ Man of the Year party, right, at the Pacific Design Center in West Hollywood. Nothing but A-list. I don't even know how I got in there. Kobe and Vanessa walked in there. They got everybody kicked out the VIP.
So they can have their area? That's
Every
just called flex.
and Marcellus,
It ain't tricking if you got it.
right,
I thought you had a worse story.
and everybody,
I would have
and-
did that if I could.
and you know what they did?
I might have
They
seen
just
that. I mean, have seen that at
My
Seance party. The Seance party.
Oh, I have some moments.
I might have seen it.
I told the chaplain, stop preaching.
But they and all they did was pull up 2 chairs and sit there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
I mean,
His
sometimes membership
teammates
has
were
its
in there.
privileges.
The
Sometimes-
Clippers
I'm
were
about to
in
say,
there.
yeah, membership has its privileges. maybe we need to get a different story. And we need a different topic right now. All right. I don't know how many freezing cold takes we got in there, but we got enough. We really went there. KD is better than Steph. That's all I heard. Okay, Transgender Executive Order. Wow. This is a hot topic.
Flip.
Yes. Executive order signed. There are 2 genders, men, women. My question really is, that sounds so simple. Why was it so difficult and such outrage about this conversation over the years? I know that I've been called transphobic for saying certain things, like there's 2 genders, and other people have. But the point is, on this show, we just trying to see why and how. So now we're here. Why do you think it was so much headwind? Anybody resistance to this conversation?
So it's such a weird dynamic. Full disclosure, my son goes and plays baseball at San Jose State.
Oh, I thought he was about to say my son in transition. I was like, damn, Papa.
Wait.
We got to talk.
Heart attack.
So now, hold on. So now he gonna have to answer for this with his teammates.
I was like, he the
because
perfect person.
put that out there like no, but no. At San Jose State, the whole issue that came up was the volleyball team.
Volleyball.
And so
that's right.
in talking to him, he was saying like it was such a thing because he talked about her and how like the impact and all the other stuff and how being singled out and those things. To me, I felt like there was a lot of grandstanding when it came to the build and all this other stuff. You're talking about fewer than 10 people that participate in sports at the NCAA level. And so it became something that preyed upon the fears of some. And I just felt like in this time, it became another issue that became really divisive because it was so hot politically. It was a hot button topic. Even in North Carolina, they talk about like the bathrooms. They talk about genders in the bathrooms, and you can have men and women's bathrooms and all this other stuff. And so it's just weird to me that it became such a hot button issue. And I'm one that like live and let live, but it's just crazy to me how polarized it became. It had to be done with an executive order. It was like grandstanding to me.
All of it is politics, right?
Yeah.
It just seems like it all is politics. I mean, when you listen to everybody that's saying something about this and have an opinion about this, it's usually straight men. That's usually making the most noise about men or women who's made the transition playing women's sports. I want to hear from the women that's actually playing the sports. You know what I mean? I will acquiesce, I will capitulate when it comes to them. And if they feel like that's an unfair or fair advantage, or if they want that to be a part of it, or if it's affecting their game. Now, do I feel a certain way when it comes to when I see like in the Olympics, or was it the Olympic trials where there was a boxer?
Yeah, that ends up being.
Yeah, that when we start seeing that, I'm like, okay, well there could be a little bit of an advantage, but I also feel like, okay, like it's still up to the women in the sports. Like as men, if women, I understand we feel like we have an advantage over them physically or whatnot. If women want to play our sports and we say, no, you can't play our sports because it's a man's sport, that's discrimination in a sense. But I think, once again, like you just mentioned, I think it's a political situation where people are trying to make their points by using other people's problems.
Yes.
To be able to make a huge impactful statement or whatever, and I don't think it's right. So when it comes to this whole situation, I am a person that my two daughters are in the community. They're in the LGBTQ community. So they're fluid. They're fluid. So I still don't know what the hell that.
I was about to say, yeah, help me out.
That fluid. But it's, I said maybe it's that a subsection. I make a joke about it. I said, look, you know what? But at the end of the day, man, I told him, I said, as long as you're happy, I don't give a damn what you do. I said, just tell me what I need to show up at the wedding. Do I need to be a groomsman? Do I need to give you away? I mean, it's like, just tell me what I need
what
to show up.
side I sit on?
Yeah, what side do I sit on? Like,
and what do I wear?
Yeah, exactly. Are you going to be in the tux or you going to be in the bride? You know what I'm saying? I don't care at the end of the day. I just want them to be happy. So when it comes to these situations, when it comes to transgenders playing in women's sports or whatever, I think we always hear from straight men who are always talking about this situation instead of the women who are playing, participating, or being affected in some kind of way in this sport.
Two problems, Mike. That the boxer you're talking about was not transgender.
Okay.
And neither was Casper Semenya.
Casper Semenya.
You know, Casper Semenya.
Who ain't lost the race ever?
Right. And the question comes in, where do the lines stop getting drawn? Right. So if you're a woman who just happens to have more testosterone than other women, but you're a woman, are you banned? If that shouldn't happen. You know, and then if you're a man participating against men and you have a better lung capacity, does that make you have an unfair advantage? No. You know what I mean? Where do you stop the delineations? Like my daughter, my daughter runs track, and 2 years ago there were two kids, and it was sad. But at the state meet, two boys who were transitioning were running against girls, and they made it to state finals. And we were at state finals up north. And both of them were getting so much hatred and so many attacks, they both pulled out. Now, should they have been there? I don't know. But the vitriol on these two little young kids who were in high school was so thick, and you felt so bad.
And that's why I like this executive order, because it will keep that kid protected on one side or the other in terms of you transitioning, you still can't cross that line. Like, to cut it short, cut it simple, boys, after puberty, it's not a fair fight. We know that. And so it's not political. It's biological, and then you can take it wherever you want. So for me, I looked at this situation always like, look, selfishly, but I also got to think about the whole, right? I'm like Mike. If my daughter, who's 25, said, "Hey, Daddy," she has a boyfriend right now. If she called me and say she had a girlfriend, I will have an initial reaction like, "Man," and then I'd be like, "All right, whatever. Your happiness overall is my greatest desire." But I got 2 other little girls, and if they came home one day and said, "This girl what used to be a boy, and now we about to go play some ball," I'm like, that ain't fair. That ain't right, because I know what's going to happen. So for me, it's a real simple issue that got blown out of proportion. But I want to push back on the conversation of there's only 10 in NCAA. The reason why I was adamant is because if you don't say anything when it's 10, it's going to be 20. If you don't say anything when it's 20, it's going to be 30. And what's going to happen is you lose scholarships, you lose opportunities, but then you can wreck somebody, man. Like, you can really, I don't know how to play basketball at all, and this is not cocky. I guarantee you I could get me some shots up if I had to play, maybe not even WNBA, but like college basketball girls. Like, I played against some before, and I'm like, I suck. And I'm like, I'm not sorry when I play with you. Like, you beat me, but I can hold my own. And I don't like murky conversations. I don't like it when the kids get lost in the wash because we haven't been adults and defined it what it is.
Yeah, I'm going to add to that. I think there's definitely something in the media where there's a big narrative, big push to highlight it. So that the boxing, the fight in the Olympics, those two, I don't know if you saw the reaction, right? So they squared up, she hit her, and then the reaction was, I need to quit. But those two actually fought before, many times before that. So that's the grandstand on the biggest level, like the first round of the Olympics. I get hit, and now all of a sudden it's too much. And everything, there was no fact check or any of that came out. It's all straight to there's a transgender in the fight. And I'd say the other side, when you see real pros, like, I don't know if anyone's seen Serena talk about that. You heard her talk about Andy. I think there's a
Andy Roddick, didn't she say?
Andy Murray. I think she said.
Andy Murray, yeah.
Do you want to play him? And she's like, no, like I wouldn't win. I probably win 1 point. Is her thing. So I think definitely the media has something to play with. Like, there's some type of narrative being pushed to
like, we can care about people and then also protect them. Like, it can get real out there.
Well, but let's add on to it. Well, take the politics aside. This is something that Trump promised he would do. He'd follow up on it. But there's benefits to it. Before he signed the order, what was it? Every state had a different ruling. Different policy. Every college, every committee had a different policy. But now it's black and white.
Yep.
Right? You've got to identify. Even the American Medical Association came out to say, this is great for us. Why? We need to know what gender you are if we're going to take care of you. We have to give you some sort of medical, whatever it is, right? If we want to take care of you, we need to know if you're male or female. You can't, if you identify as they, there could be different, different medicine or different trials for whether you're male or female. So if it goes beyond just sports, it's also if you're in some sort of critical condition, the doctors, the medical field needs to know what you are.
Right.
There's benefits to this.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say, because you brought up before, when you hear it's only like straight men talking about it. You want to hear from the female perspective. I think it was a year or two ago, they had a whole congressional meeting on this where they brought up different people to talk about it. And one of the girls, her name was Riley Gaines. She was the swimmer. And she talked about how unfair it was, how uncomfortable she felt in the locker room with the, I forgot the... I can't remember the name. I don't know. But she spoke out against it. And there was another one too, where they kind of highlighted on all the things we just said, but there is an unfair advantage. And she broke it down. She was giving like statistics and just facts. Even like the men's lungs, like the amount of air we can hold,
our air capacity
is different from what they can hold. And then she even gave a stat where like the best high school swimmer, or I think he said the best was like an average high school swimmer, male swimmer, their times are faster than professional like female swimmers. So it's like just across the board, it's just completely unfair. It shouldn't even have been there. Yeah.
Who was a middling male swimmer, then transitioned. Became a dominant.
Winning trophy, winning
and
everything.
you know why you don't hear a lot of women talking about it, just straight men like myself? They get weaponized, the language, the jargon, everything weaponizes against them. They become transphobic. It happened to my wife because we have the daughters, and she's like, I played college basketball as a woman, but boy, Like my wife is a college basketball player. She's a good basketball player. I would beat my wife, like for real. Like she'll get a jump shot or two, but I'll just bully ball her. It is what it is. And I'm like, I suck. Like, so it's funny. The best example that I used to use, and people can understand this one, track and field. Think about it. There's 8 billion people on this planet right now, right? I don't know how many in aggregate over civilization, but let's say 20 billion or something like that. And more women than men. So let's say 11 billion women in existence. The fastest woman ever to live was FloJo, right? And she ran a 10.49? 10.49. We could go to Dorsey High School right now, Long Beach Poly. You can go grab 4. I know 4 high school kids, one of them freshman. And he like, yeah, I could beat that. Fastest woman that ever exists runs a 10.49. And that's high school, 8th place in California. And if you just look at it that way, and you have to just say, what were we thinking in terms of the sports dynamic? It would have never worked.
I totally get that. I'm totally in agreement with it. I do know that as a man, we have a physical advantage when it comes to sports, when it comes to women, in certain sports. You know, I'm not gonna say every one of them. I don't even.
What sport is?
I don't
backgammon?
Know. Swimming? I don't know. Is swimming the
Oh
same?
yeah. The men be hitting them women.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, like, so I'm not a physicist. I'm not
poker maybe.
Pickleball.
Something.
Pickleball. Oh no, the dudes be
whatever.
getting.
I know that.
What you say?
When it comes to the records, when it comes to the standards, when it comes to the stamina, when it comes to all that we have, once again, I do believe that it would be more effective if more women who played the game, if they felt that way, if they spoke up.
No, okay, I'm not gonna put this person on blast because this is not fair because they have a brand. She runs track and literally went to a banquet with her and she got up there and was talking about women's rights and then said, but she also didn't oppose transgenders running against women. And I was like, those two things can't go together. Like, I ain't put her on blast, but she the homie. And I was like, those two things can't go together because all your records gonna go. If you let, like you said, a middle pack high schooler will go break FloJo's record. How? That's wild.
The 2 kids who pulled out of the state finals 2 years ago were not good male runners in the very least. Their best times would not have even gotten them out of the good divisions. But they were dominating in the women's side. So I mean, it was like how, and in fact, it was a buzz through like, how is this actually going to work?
So what I'm saying
because
is
they were
like,
so much better.
But we're men talking about this type of stuff, and as men talking about it, we're going to be falling on deaf ears. Like, we're going to be called all kind of transphobic. We're going to be called all, because we can feel that way. But if the women who are being affected by it,
but you know what? That I hate that narrative, and I hate that people subscribe to it because you don't have to be it. You just have to know it. I don't need to see Bill Belichick play center at Wesleyan. I don't need to see you be this. Just know what you're talking about. Like, I hate when people box me out of conversation like, oh, what do you know? You're not. I'm like, you want to play that game?
No, we can have an opinion. I'm just saying it'd be more effective if it came from the people that
well, it must have been effective. We just got an executive order. Like, it must have got up to the right.
A lot of that is, not to get too political in this whole situation because I want to keep a job. But, you know, I still work for Fox.
I'm about to say,
I still work for Fox.
What you been doing?
But here's the thing. Like, when it comes to politics or whatever, it's like, it's a, sometimes you have promises and, you know, you go to a certain way. If you go all the way to the right, to the left, you got to keep your promises to the people.
Your base.
Your
make your base happy.
So you got to do things to make your base happy. And a lot of times, it ain't even about the competition. It's about the fear. Right? It's about the fear of people saying, I don't want a dick in my locker room. Or I don't want a dick in my... Seriously. That's what they're saying. I don't want a dick in my restroom.
We got a comedian here.
Double pause.
No, they're saying. But that's what they're saying. Then they just say but we also got to understand that there are human rights out there as well. So I think when there are people who are transitioning, and this is just me trying to find myself, because I used to be that guy 20 years ago. I was that guy, man. I was the guy.
What do you mean? Hold on, you transitioned?
No, I wasn't that guy.
Like we just. Hold on. No, I knew that hairline.
Hold on a second.
I knew that shape up was. That ain't the normal shape up.
Don't let the light skin fool you.
He was Michelle Hill. Michelle Hill.
Pause. Triple pause.
Marcellus, you invited Michelle Hill.
Let's flip it to the opposite side of that thing, because 25 years ago, I was the guy that like, nah, I don't want no damn men playing no women's sports. I was that guy.
Got it.
I was the guy that was like, you know, before I knew about like homosexuality, and I was the guy that was always saying words that I probably shouldn't have been saying when I was growing up.
Got it.
Because this is what I was growing up on.
Yeah,
like,
we grew up in that
you this
culture.
guy, like,
of course.
You know, like, you gay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I had to learn. So there was a learning process that I went through. There was an evolution that I went through to understand that, like, you know what? Hey, it's not affecting me.
Yeah, but it's no learned behavior. There's no level of empathy that's going to solve a guy who struggles in playing against men,
but
destroying women.
But what I'm saying
there's
is,
no level of empathy.
It's not just about the competition. It's about the fact that there are people are fear mongering out there.
Well,
right
they
now.
taking it the wrong way.
But they're pushing the agenda. The whole thing, even the whole, you can go over the Caitlin Clark situation or whatever, and it's like she's straight, she's white, and she's playing in a black lesbian league, or whatever. So it's a lot of politics out there, and it ain't even about how good she plays basketball, but they're trying to push a political agenda to make a point. And that's what I'm saying. There are a lot of white men out here who are trying to push a political agenda to make a point. It ain't about the competition, it ain't about records. It's about my political agenda to cause fear to this portion of society that is not like us.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So when they do
like
that,
HR is
no, I'm not.
I just want to make sure you don't go that line.
No, I'm saying
okay.
I'm cool with what I'm saying, but there is a political agenda that's being pushed when it comes to that type of stuff. So when
is it fear when I'm a woman? I'm like, somebody protect me, because this dude who just played high school got 9th place now just broke everybody's record.
It's not even about.
See, Mike's talking about
on the field.
intent.
I'm talking about in society. I'm talking about women's restrooms. I'm talking about non-gender restrooms of a woman who's trans going in. Ain't looking at this woman. Ain't looking at this woman. Thinks this trans person who has gone into this woman's restroom believes that she is a woman. She is not looking at this person. She's not going in there trying to rape, but there's this fear mongering that's out there.
But there's a lot of non-gender, but not everywhere.
But there's a lot of, but what I'm saying, there's a political agenda there. There's a lot of fear mongering. Like, these are bad people. And that's the problem that I have with the whole situation. It's not about the competition.
I hope we don't go to that.
But that's what they're pushing.
Yeah. I don't think, like you said, I don't think there's anyone out there who's transitioning to be, like you said, what was it, state championships. They're not transitioning for the sport. I don't think, like, to get an advantage in their sport. That's a bigger decision, bigger discussion about like your identity, personality, whatever it is. So this is just a byproduct. There's a small number, like 10, whatever it is, like you said, in NCAA. I think from my perspective, the bigger thing is like that duty of care to all the athletes. I take the track and field perspective. So you mentioned Caster Semenya. When she first came on the scene, she's female. I think she's born with both sets of genitalia, so she has that height. And when she was actually competing, I don't know if anyone remembers, in the World Championships, like hours before the final, they were discussing it open in the public. She's done a gender test yesterday. We're all waiting for the results. Is it going to come back? So for me, that's where, for the athletes, they've got to be like, there's some type of, when you talk about mental health, there's got to be some type of care for them. Like, she don't put herself in that situation. So I don't know, that's my take on the other side of, it's something you can't really control. I mean,
yeah, it's tough. It's tough out there, man. Like, I don't like it when it's inhumane. I'm not casting any aspersions. I'm not, none of that. I just know if we can't have a track meet with boys, girls, and transgenders, then we just having boys and girls. And you transition, you can't run, and because you never hear, where's the girl that became the boy? And saying, I'm out to race.
And about to say that.
Yeah.
Literally.
Oh, you about to say that?
I was about to.
Hold on, rewind. All right, what's that?
No, I was just gonna say, we talk about fairness. You can like whatever you like. You can say, all right, they can compete, but where you know it's not fair is because you don't see that on the other side.
You don't see it.
It's only natural-born males competing against females. You never see the natural-born female jumping over.
Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means that there's more
They're
of
getting
a
smoked.
yeah.
We don't hear about it.
Because they're not competing, they're not
Slow
winning,
ass.
they're not taking
Hold
prizes
on,
away
we
from
gonna have equal
anybody.
rights. You can't transition and
Yeah.
then I gotta be
You can't
sensitive.
win.
Right,
You
I
can-
like boys up, I like girls up. Your ass.
So let me ask you a question. If they did transition and they didn't have an advantage, do you think there'd be much of somebody saying something about it?
I'm just saying, I've never heard that.
That's the point. That's what I'm saying. You won't hear about it because
It doesn't fit the agenda either.
the men who are
The
the
fear
women who are becoming women. No, the women who are becoming men when they compete in men's sports, they're not taking anything away from the men, right?
No, they
so
can't.
the only reason you're hearing about it is that the men who are becoming women are taking something away. But if they weren't, do you think there would be this much of an uproar? And I'm saying yes,
But
it
they
would
are. We can't imagine a
No,
world where
but,
they are.
but once again, it's so much more beyond the winning and the losing and the records and all that type of stuff like that. It's once again, it's the fear that people are putting out.
I'm not scared. Look, I grew up running track, so national record holder, won the nationals. Couldn't beat girls on my team before I hit puberty. Shanoa and Sonoma. To that voice. I mean, I'd be in practice, the girls smoking us. 11, 10, 11. Oh, them girls were eating. I had a girl, Angela Ross, she ran on 54. And I was like, what are you, 13? She was insane. And then she didn't get any faster. But the point is, then all of a sudden, if I would have kept running, I would have passed her.
Right.
But I like the point that it's a fairness conversation, but it's not fairness of how you feel always. It's fairness of what you're producing. And there's, to his point, there's never been a natural born woman playing sports that we ever heard of, because they never gonna make the mark. They never will. And that's not a diss. It just is, and it's okay, and I'm glad we got back to it just is.
Piggyback off of that though, Mike earlier used the words, it doesn't affect me, and Bucky said 10 out of, it's like 10 out of 500,000 NCAA athletes who are transgender.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was half of those 500,000 athletes were transgender. Then what would we be talking about? Would we care more? Would it be a...
Oh, the records are gone.
It's such a minimum amount of people, like Bucky said. It ain't that many of them, but it's enough. And it's enough that people who really ain't got skin in the game don't even probably.
Yeah, there's no skin in the game. Yeah.
How many people watch, like the technical rules of volleyball? They can't tell you one player on San Jose State volleyball team right now. Except that one player.
Yeah.
They don't give a damn about the people
But what does that
don't
matter?
give a
There are
damn.
people who are not invested in the stock market. They still don't like to see inside trading. Like they're like dog. Like
Excuse my language. I don't care.
It doesn't affect you personally.
oh, I see. Then now you're not a part of the greater community.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be nice to the greater community. Now you ain't a part of it.
And you're singling out to one particular sport. That if you allow it here, then it's allowed
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
And then boxing.
So yeah, I might not know the volleyball player, but I might know the basketball player.
I mean, I know two.
I mean, two out of
Two kids.
and you know thousands of people.
But you also living in the moment. You talking about now.
I mean,
some things are putting. Some things are putting now for the future.
This ain't coronavirus. This ain't shit like it ain't gonna spread. It ain't like somebody trans hot shoe. Oh goddamn boy, you need to cut off your dick. You know what I'm saying? Hey, let's take a second. We only take one to break
It don't take a down to break Mojo record, and it will be gone. Yeah. There is a dude that could transition a woman that could take that record easily.
And it wouldn't be hard.
It's not hard at all.
No.
Like 10.49, like you grab the last place Olympian from like I mean, he's running a 10.2, 10 like the not last place finals. I'm talking about every country. Algeria, wherever you want to go. And this dude would destroy Flojo's record if he just transitioned.
And when it happens on that level, that's when they really.
That's when they go get it.
That's when they gonna stop.
All right, I'll let you button this up. Let this go.
Nobody chooses the hardest path voluntarily. So let's start there, and that's where you
like
can
that.
start with the compassion,
Yeah.
right? And I love the
man.
fact that you said you're for the greater good, because we've had talks about that.
Yeah.
The individual versus the greater
that's the
good.
balance here.
That's the balancing act, right? And it just that you just have to find that in sports and figure that part out without alienating and without turning these kids into them being monsters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's not right.
I think the bold lines will help this situation going forward. It has to, because when it was murky, kids were caught up in the wash. And I just really believe that. So hopefully we give this some time and it can help define
So where do they play
what the
now?
space is. Huh?
Where do they play now?
Where do they play?
Where do they play? What sport? What like?
They
so,
play their natural gender.
Oh, if you're born a boy, you play a boy. You're born a girl,
So
you play
if
a
you're
girl.
now identifying as a girl, you go back to playing boy sports.
Yeah.
You're naturally a
Your
boy.
natural born gender. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, it's just sports. Like there's bigger things.
It's a choice.
Yeah, it's all good. All right. This Marcus Jordan story, I want to bring it up because it really touches on how sports and a lot of times athletes, entitlement, etc. I didn't know the depth of this story at first. This is wild, dog. We could talk about parenting, being a father, being a successful father, then your son, he's supposed to follow in your footsteps, it goes off the tracks, literally, pun intended with this one. Who knows this story? You know the story?
Yeah.
All right, break this story down, because I can't believe what I read. I was like, this ain't real. Give me some
He got stopped for DUI,
Okay.
and he had coke, and he was all fucked up.
What, Coke
Where
Zero?
was he?
Coke Zero or
Cocaine.
Cocaine.
Cocaine, a hell of a drug, dog.
Cocaine.
Keep going. Let him
Yeah,
break-
he was on the
yeah,
train.
oh, yeah, let him break
because
the
he,
story down.
because he was fucked up.
Okay, so he evaded the police
Yeah.
with the DUI coming, and he got the coke in the pockets, and he got the little homegirl, the little friend there, and he got stuck on the train tracks.
He made the wrong turn. He made a turn thinking, I guess he thought he was turning down the road. He turned down some train tracks.
Turned down some train tracks.
And then the cops came and said, can you help push me off the train?
Oh, he's zoning.
Oh, he was gone.
The cops
He
were
was
helping.
gone.
He don't know that either. And then he drops Pop's name.
He said, bro, I'm Marcus Jordan. I'm Michael Jordan's son. That's what
Matter
he
of
said.
fact,
Yeah.
or like with influence,
He
the impact.
didn't say, hey, do you know why? He didn't say it like that. He said, I'm Marcus Jordan, I'm Michael Jordan. Hey, bro, I'm Michael Jordan. I just wanted to get
I don't think there's any other way to say it.
He said,
no matter what you say.
He said, I'm Marcus
Beyonce's
Jordan, I'm Michael Jordan's
son.
son. You know, it'd be like if you would have been like, hey, I'm Marcellus Wiley, I play for the Chargers or whatever.
I would never do that.
I know, but I'm saying that's how he said it.
That never helps.
He didn't say it like,
never
hey,
helps.
you know I'm
Never
a
helps.
star.
If I'm pulling you over for breaking the law, you think I give a damn how fresh you think you are?
Not only that, but then the policemen get to say, I don't care who you are,
Yeah.
and it makes them look like a better
Upper hand.
officer because they didn't give you any privilege.
I'm sure there's officers who let people off with that line, but we only hear about the ones that get called up.
Maybe he was,
Yep.
Yeah.
maybe he's trying to prevent himself from getting his ass
he's-
beat
I mean,
by saying, "Hey man, I'm Michael Jordan's son, so like if you're gonna beat my ass, just know that."
yeah,
like maybe
it protects you.
maybe it's quantifying.
Did you see the tape?
I didn't see the
Yeah,
tape. I'm
he
saying-
ain't give a damn about all that.
I don't think he was here.
He ain't give because there's a nervous way of saying, hey man, hey, just let you know, Michael Jordan's son. That's a nervous you gonna whoop my ass? You a racist cop, whatever.
Yeah.
The cop was real cool too.
What's crazy is the cop. Yeah, they so cool. When he first took off, they let Lambo let him go.
Let him go.
And then his ass got caught because he got on the train track. They let him go. They're like, we ain't catching no Lambo. We ain't going through all that.
We know who you are.
We know how many Lambos out here right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we gonna figure this
We gonna
out.
find you.
And then he got caught up. Is that an indictment? Because people always take it here. As I heard the story, they was like, damn, if you Michael Jordan, you let your son down, or you're a disappointment as a dad. And I always believe, like, we create kids, but we don't control them.
He's not a kid, Marcellus.
No, I'm just saying, like, he's still his son, I should say. So the point is, he didn't turn out to be a basketball player. I don't know what he's doing. Like,
He's one of the heads of Air Jordan. He controls a lot of what comes out, what the drops are,
so good.
all of that stuff.
He's good. Take care of him with the nepotism and get him in position that he do his thing.
But he's
Absolutely.
messing up the brand.
But yeah. So it's like I was like caught off because it made me think like I would be embarrassed if my son did all that. I ain't embarrassed if my son get pulled over. I ain't embarrassed if my son try to name drop me. I'm like, you stupid, but do you? I'm embarrassed that all of this is happening, and then your bailout is I'm your daddy. But then if I'm your daddy, you should be closer to who I am. I ain't doing all this, and I done had the world in my hands. True. So what's your issue?
You just now being embarrassed, and this your son that's been screwing your former teammates' wife.
Boy, this ain't the first time I'm embarrassed.
Oh yeah.
This is where your embarrassment come from.
Hey.
Good point. Good point.
I'm just saying this is where your embarrassment start. Yeah.
There's an argument to that one. Like he said,
he ain't
like,
my
that's
teammate.
your
Hey,
boy,
Daddy,
daddy.
that's your teammate.
Yeah.
This fair game.
I mean, but that's how that's how everybody knows who he is.
Yeah.
I think it's a couple things here. First off, if him saying that, to me, this is not the first time. First, the whole getting caught with the coke is the second time in like 2 or 3 weeks that this has happened.
He got caught with coke a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
What?
You don't remember they was on? Yeah.
Booger sugar.
Yeah, he was on it. So clearly, this is just his way of life. And if he does that in a situation with the cops, I'm pretty sure he's ran that line. He's probably said that line so many times, and it's worked every time.
Yeah, it's worked.
It's just this time it didn't work, and it's on camera.
No, you can't kick it in 2 weeks. Why do you evade? Like who? What kind of ignorance is in you to leave? Like, did you watch Set It Off? How it ends? Like, who takes off from the cops?
But if he high, you can't.
Cocaine and hella drugs.
Right. You expected him to make a logical decision when he's not in a logical state.
Don't show anything but cocaine. Like anybody. Okay, yeah. I've never done cocaine and never will because I'm thinking about living bias. I think I'll die. Like I literally, I think
never done no crack.
I'm too hyper already. It's just rap.
But I also think he did what everybody else would do too. I think anybody who's the son of Michael Jordan would run that same line. I mean, it's probably.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
Everybody's gonna use that.
Hold on,
No, there's too many successful people who have great kids. That. What do you mean by
Michael Jordan?
Hold on, Marcellus. Okay, going back to when we were playing. Do you remember the little black NFLPA card we had?
Oh yeah.
So when you play in the NFL, you're part of the union. The union gives you a black NFLPA card.
Yes.
That card
Players
in
card.
every city.
The easy pass.
Magic City. You go there, and it's a line. Hey, bro.
You know.
Walk in. If I got the Michael Jordan thing, I'm dropping that.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Everybody's using that.
Playing that card. Y'all played that card. Your team
We have a police card.
Everybody's doing it. Everybody.
We had reports that one of y'all got pulled over, got arrested or whatever, and it never hit the media because y'all played a card.
But I have never. I'm gonna tell you I have never said who I was. One, because maybe I don't think it matters. But two, maybe they don't even know. But I have never also had any bad incidents with police.
You know what?
So it ain't
MJ?
a get out of jail free card for me. It's just like be nice to the cop, damn it.
If MJ, when he starts driving, he get pulled over. You don't want him to drop your name?
No.
If it's your town, let's say it's around here, you know the cops.
Well, did he do something wrong? That's a
For
great
whatever
concept.
reason. If I got some status, some clout, I got some pull and wherever, and my kid gets pulled over, I want him to drop my name. Let me step in.
I think I'm wrong because I've never done it, so I'm gonna be stubborn to what has worked for me. But
I've never done it in a traffic stop.
Yeah, I've never done it.
But Jordan-
But I like your side.
Jordan's a different level,
I've
though,
done
right?
it. I got pulled over before, and I'm like, "Hey, bro, I'm just coming back home from work." You know what I'm saying? You know, I don't.
I know we from SBA.
And then the next question, like, "Oh, what you do?" "Oh, yeah, I thought you looked familiar." Now that's helped me get out a couple of tickets. I ain't gonna lie to you. The place has helped me get out.
Okay, so I have imagined before. They're like, "So where you coming from?" "Oh man, I was just leaving the facility,
Yeah.
And then I was just working out, man. Junior and them were like,
That's what I'm talking about.
but I ain't do it. I was just like,
He must have been waiting for the reaction, though. He's waiting for the cop's reaction. If he says, "I'm Michael Jordan," and if he's like, "I love Jordans," he can pop the trunk, the Lambo. "What size are you?" "I got some 3s, I got some 2s." And they hook him up. He's done that before.
Hey, man, you leave me your little card. We'll get you some. We'll drop them things overnight in the mail.
But when you on cocaine and you down some train tracks,
he's
dog.
right. See, that's
Little
so
bit
hold
different.
on. I can tell you
was
in a
just
plan.
doing 10 miles over the speed limit.
Pull over and say, "Hey, officer, sorry, I know it. Can you give me my ticket? By the way,
I'm high.
No, give me your ticket. By the way,
high.
I am in not a good spot. I am Michael Jordan's son. I will give you the keys to the trunk and what's back there." Like, you gotta play that. If you're gonna play that card, it's like in spades. Play it at the right time. He played a little joker.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it work out because I feel like there's so many videos where we've seen prominent people that get pulled over and they drop the name, and TMZ got the video.
Yep.
Yeah.
The audio looked bad.
I just think You might be better. You might be better just to
Take that L.
Here's the irony of all of it. When he was doing his thing with Larsa, his whole thing was, I'm a grown man, I can do what I want to. My father doesn't have anything to do with this. As soon as he gets into a pickle, I'm Michael Jordan's son, and I want all the privilege that comes with that.
If I'm Jordan for real, protecting my brand like he must have over these years, I don't even want my name associated with this any more than it will be just because your name is Marcus Jordan. Like, how you gonna throw me in the middle of this mix? So every time we have this conversation, we bring up Michael Jordan in terms of being name dropped, not just Michael Jordan's son. Let's go back to Marcus. Like, to me, the dad in me is just sitting there like, what's wrong with you, dog?
You're so mad. You so mad at him. You so mad.
I'm mad.
You so mad. You might want to take the belt out to Marcus, no matter how old he is. You know what? You know what? He's gonna pick him up at the station and be like, "Come here. We're gonna go to the back."
You know, you're
Bucky
right,
too.
because you know how Mike feel about his image.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
His entire playing career.
Barkley said one bad thing about him being a GM.
don't mess with him.
I don't talk to you no more.
Yep.
But wait,
Like, what
Bucky
you
too.
doing?
You said you never seen all the time in all your time. You haven't seen that work, but that's because it worked.
Because it worked.
Yep.
Yeah, right. So you're only gonna see when it doesn't work, but it probably
ain't a
works.
story if it works.
Right, because
Right.
it never gets there.
Yep.
But in regards to using your dad's name, I mean, arguably he's probably the most famous person at this point.
True.
We say it, living person. You had other legends that are now gone.
Yeah.
So if he's at a different.
He's
He's at a different.
Reason I wouldn't want my son to do it because it's not teaching him accountability. That's part of the problem why he's doing booger sugar.
But them days is over. He a grown man. You ain't teaching him nothing.
No,
If he didn't get it then, he ain't getting it now.
My daddy is 77. And
you still parenting.
I'm like, I'm taking it in.
You still got to parent him.
Yeah,
No. I'm not talking about Mike not parenting. I'm talking about the son.
But
I think at this point,
Oh,
he didn't get it by now.
I mean,
he's just not getting
too
it.
far gone. Like,
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he
doing
is.
cocaine and driving fast with pretty white girls. Like
That's probably been his whole life.
Latina girls.
That's been his whole life.
Latina?
I think so. Yeah, he like.
Oh,
That's what Mike like too.
Yes,
That's what Mike like.
Well, she probably fine as hell. She like, hit it, Marcus.
Hit it, Marcus. Hit it.
What?
Hit it, Poppy.
I'm listening to my daddy still. He wrong a lot. Like, my daddy lost his fastball. Like, some of the stuff he be telling me, like, Daddy, we don't do that no more. Right. Boy, won't they run the ball? I'm like, Daddy, nobody runs the football no more like that. Like, he's different. But we got two more stories to get into, man. Since it's Super Bowl week, lightening it up. Best Super Bowl ads. Ooh. Like, we've all been sitting there, like, it's weird. Super Bowl is wild. I love it, and some part of me doesn't like it because it's like a 4-hour commitment to, like, you can't go to the bathroom. What are you going to the bathroom for? That's the commercial time. You don't miss the game. It's like you locked in.
Halftime.
Nah.
Can't miss halftime.
Yeah, to your point. So there's one I have in mind, but best ads we've seen. Anybody got some?
I'll go for last year's the Kanye West one. Last year was good, I think.
What
Did
was
you
it?
anyone see it?
No.
From a business
Sound like
point.
you didn't either.
Oh, from the business point of view, the one he shot it on his just on his phone, right? He said, "I haven't got any money left because we spent all the money on the ad spot," and it's like the most successful thing. He did a drop. He's literally in the back of a cab. He just blah blah blah, and then hit this, and
I didn't see that one. I went to the bathroom.
and his thing sold
See?
out. It's like no production or nothing. The lighting's terrible, but he's like, I spent all the money on the spot, so this is what it's going to be.
Oh,
Go to
that's
this.
dope.
Go
Kanye
to
did
this,
that?
and
That's dope.
it was a sellout in like whatever, 10-minute sellout. Or
Oh, I
something.
like that.
Wow,
I like
okay.
that.
I think that it's between two. I think probably number one is the Budweiser commercial from back in the day when they was like, "What's up?" I think that's probably the most legendary one.
Yep.
And I don't know if you remember when they first started the GoDaddy commercials. Do you remember that?
No, what
And they had the random like model just walk out
Almost nothing.
and nothing, and she didn't even say nothing.
And that was
And
enough.
everybody was just like, and then the commercials go like she didn't say nothing. It was just people were so confused by it, and literally the next day, everybody talked about what GoDaddy was, and then you find out it was just a website for buying a website. It had nothing to do with any of that.
I remember the effect. I
And
don't
now
remember her.
GoDaddy is still a damn near $1 billion company now, and it started off that commercial.
I didn't know it started like that. I do remember people saying the effect of it. So I don't remember her, but I remember it. All right, I got two. Office linebacker, y'all remember that?
Oh yeah, Terry Tate.
Terry Tate?
Yeah,
that
Reebok.
was sick.
Yeah,
that was sick. I mean, football, obviously, and he was just going through there killing people. And where's the beef? I'm aging myself right now.
Where's the beef?
Remember that?
Wendy's.
Wendy's,
Oh, yeah.
yes. The old lady was like,
Yep.
where's the beef? That always, because I was young and that came out.
You weren't that young. Stop it. And Doritos always has good
Doritos
ads.
always
They
come.
always
They even have
come with
contests for
something.
theirs sometimes.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they get fans to actually vote for that.
Yeah, Doritos.
Although I
always
can't remember any of them, but
I know that's what's
but
interesting.
Doritos always has good commercials.
What's up? What's up was great.
What's up?
The talking baby was awesome last
Oh
year.
yeah, love that.
Well, I'm gonna tell you your favorite one. You don't even realize it's your favorite one. Hey kid, catch.
Oh,
Boy in the Hood?
Joe?
Thanks, Mean Joe.
Oh,
the original
yeah.
number 75.
I said
The
no.
Coca-Cola commercial.
I do. Well, that was one of the 70s.
This is
but
back.
Yeah,
This is way back in the day. But
Yes,
people remember
that
that.
was
Like
sick.
he's like, I got you a Coke, Mean Joe.
Yeah.
He drinks the Coke, throws. Anybody remember that?
Yeah,
I do remember. I
Mean
remember.
Joe
Yeah,
is in
yeah.
the tunnel.
I
Mean
remember.
Joe's
That
in the
was sick.
tunnel, and
That
he's
was in
limping.
the 70s. Yeah.
But was that a Super Bowl
That
commercial?
was a Super Bowl commercial.
I remember the commercial.
That was a Super
Yeah, I
Bowl
remember that commercial.
Yeah.
That was sick.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Terry Tate. I didn't know Terry Tate was a Super Bowl commercial, but I actually used that in my business. We use that on day one, like induction. That goes in the first day at work.
Y'all use that?
Office induction. Yeah, we put a little slip.
Oh, that's hilarious. Hilarious.
I just want to remind you though, the What's Up went into movies
Yep.
Yeah, man.
and
Was-
TV shows.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it became like a code. Remember, people just started saying it.
Oh, that's
just
my
randomly.
favorite one. You said it
answered
first,
the
though.
phone. People was doing that.
What's
Just- it was like a real thing.
And then they all jump the shark somehow. They all get to a point of saturation where, like, they just gotta swerve off of them because they don't even go there anymore. Kind of tough. Like,
And
be the
now
star.
sometimes they even show them before the Super Bowl, which
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
This is such and such a Super Bowl ad. Well, it's Tuesday.
yeah,
We shouldn't even be seeing that yet. It ruins the surprise.
I know. The Super Bowl, them ads are now at $8 million for 30 seconds.
For 30 seconds.
I mean, everybody gonna see it, so I get it. You gonna get that ROI, but I'm not writing an $8 million check to like Fox, but I want the $8+ million because every artist says it. Like when you perform Super Bowl, it's rap. Like Weeknd invested. I think they give you a budget of a couple million. He put $7 more million into it.
Yeah, because they don't get paid. They get paid for production.
They get the production
Yeah,
budget,
yep.
and he added to the production budget because he's like, I'm gonna make this money back.
Yep.
Then his tours sold out and went crazy. So
Well, think about this. State Farm is so expensive. State Farm, now they have to cover all of these Palisades and the fire and stuff. They pulled out of the ad base for the Super Bowl.
like, we get enough coverage because we got to cover all these damn fires.
Jake can't be everywhere.
All right, let's finish up with here. Speaking of Jake, ain't he black? Yeah. DEI initiatives disappearing. Damn, no more Jake.
Jake ain't no DEI. Jake did replace the white.
He did.
The original
I
Jake,
know.
yeah,
That's what I'm
yeah.
saying.
What he wearing?
After this Super Bowl run,
Khakis.
watch what happened to
Oh,
Jake.
my God,
Jake about to get snaked.
Not Jake. Come on, dog.
But just like, look, it's a minority room. I see it. And just to speak on DEI, like diversity, equity, inclusion, your position on it, and then obviously the erosion of it over the years, and then not just right now, kind of like post-COVID. Like I remember hearing of some corporations like, and it's so weird. They don't know how to say it, but you know what they're saying. It's just like, yeah, that department that was directed towards minority services now no longer exists. So we see DEI on a decline, the demise of it. What's your position and stance on it?
Well, a lot of companies weren't serious about it anyway.
Thank you.
It was all lip service. My ex-wife is an entertainment lawyer, and she was helping.
Damn, she
with-
won that damn divorce. I know she whooped your ass. All she left you was a FIL-A sweater.
and she went. And she went to Columbia.
Oh, yeah, she really whooped you.
Right. but we have friends who worked in DEI, and a lot of the stuff was a farce anyway.
And
So
how did it go? Like, what do you mean? how did they implement it? How do you know it was DEI and not just a black or white Latino?
They were literally DEI meetings and Zooms about DEI, and what was very clear from the start was, first of all, the powers that be, the ones who you would think you need DEI to be almost protected from or being included with, didn't give a damn about it. Yeah. They weren't implementing it. It wasn't in meaningful ways that could create generations of people coming up who have been underserved or shut out. And those things hardly ever went into place anyway. So it was like almost like the Rooney Rule. It was like they wanted to say they did it, but the next day they're hiring whoever else anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So it was a lot of lip service. I was happy a lot of our friends who were heading up DEI positions were making a lot of money and, getting to feed their families really well, but it wasn't particularly satisfying for the people who it was supposed to be fixed for.
Yeah, not to get too granular, but the mechanisms of it, since you know it, kind of inner workings, because I didn't want to be ignorant and just say, anytime I saw a black person, for example, at a corporation, they're a DEI hire. Like, I didn't want to do that. But you said there were actual Zooms with intentions and structure, like that job will be a DEI versus, or how's it play out? How does it work?
Well, when you really break it down, with most corporations, there aren't people of color in positions.
Right.
And much less positions of power. So there's an obvious need for it. Because every black person ain't dumb. Every Latino person ain't dumb. Every woman isn't dumb. Every Asian isn't dumb and can't do the job, but you're not getting the jobs.
Well,
right?
So now, if you really want to go there, like Thomas Sowell always talks about, it's not just the acumen conversation, because I think a lot of times we have this conversation, oh, you're not qualified or you're not smart enough or access. It's interest. And this is where we don't talk enough about. One of the reasons there's not a lot of black coaches because a lot of former players ain't interested in it when they're black. I swear I could run this study. White player realizes way before the black player it's time to hang these up or it's coming to an end, right? So then they get in line. You know how it is. You go to Six Flags. Who get in line? That's a 3-hour line. I ain't getting in that line. Okay. Now when you come back, it's 4 hours. You got to get in the line, and that's part of it, the interest. I'm not saving corporate America because we know how old it is, and nepotism and the familiarity and then, pipeline, how many people go to Ivy League schools, et cetera. We know how it gets there. But we got to hold ourselves accountable too, be more interested in these things and getting those lines earlier. You may be able to get to a position. Scott Turner, you don't know Scott Turner. Scott Turner, former Charger, just became head of HUD, Homeland
Housing and Urban Development.
Housing, urban development. Huge. He's a former football player. But he got in that line.
Is he qualified?
There you go. Mike, good question.
Well, he put in the work.
No, is he qualified? So what's crazy about the irony in that whole situation with him and even who's the guy that was HUD before with
Carson. Yeah.
Are they qualified? So are they in that position because they are who they are, a person of color, or are they qualified for that position?
I mean,
they
got the resume.
Mike, there's an easy answer to that.
So when we talk about DEI, we talk about qualification. We understand what DEI means to a lot of people. Once again, we go to the political side of
the buzzword.
The buzzword of what it is. When people say Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, when people say that,
it's crazy.
When they say the Supreme Court Justice, that I can't think of, please forgive me, she's a DEI Supreme. When you hear DEI hires, it's usually talking about a black person. Right? Or a black woman, especially a DEI hire. These people are way more qualified than a lot of times their white counterparts, but it's a buzzword to say DEI hire, not knowing the qualification. Then you look at HATCHETTE, who is now in charge of the Defense Department, where the former the Secretary of Defense,
a four-star general.
HATCHETTE,
he was in the Army.
He was in the Army,
and that was
they're
it.
saying that he is now more qualified than the guy that you said was a DEI hire.
Right.
This is where I'm talking about. This is the buzzword that we're talking about when it comes to political. We're talking about transgender situation where people are politicizing these things to go back to a time and era where we didn't have a lot of things. Okay.
That's right.
Here's my point. Why was DEI even necessary?
For the reasons I just said.
Talk about it. So why was DEI even necessary?
People weren't getting opportunities. They were shut out, and everything was a good old boys network.
So now that you say that, now that they've taken it away, do you believe that the people who are now in charge of hiring, of making sure that there is a diverse workforce, because we have seen in studies that diverse workforces actually are great for companies because they make more money when it's a diverse workforce, that they will make proper decisions? And
of course not.
Of course not.
Because they weren't doing it before.
So this is the reason why DEI was important in the first place.
Absolutely. Not only that, but
what about the quality compromise that obviously existed? And I don't know if it's all DEI, but it certainly coincidentally occurred where there's example after example where you were realizing there wasn't always credible workers in situations because they were DEI hires. Like, are you for affirmative action or against it?
I wish we did not have to have affirmative action.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I wish we did not have to have DEI. Okay. I wish we did not have to have laws. I wish we didn't have to have certain amendments in place.
Yeah.
I think as an American, as a black person in this country, a person at fault for this country, I was in the United States Air Force, a lot of people don't even realize that, fought 6 years in this country. I wish we didn't have to have amendments in place or initiatives in place for me to get equal treatment in this country. I wish we didn't have that. But because we have shown and had a history of not having that in place, we need to have that in order to have equality. And that's all we want. That's all anybody wants is equality. I don't want a gift. I don't want a handout. I was a DEI hire. I'm gonna tell you when I was a DEI hire. I was a DEI hire when I got hired in Dallas. I was in New York, out of a job, looking for a job, hot sportscaster on the rise. I get hired in Dallas, Channel 8, WFAA. First 8 months there, worst 8 months of my life.
Was it WFAA?
FAA, Channel 8. I got hired by a guy, a white dude, had never hired a black sportscaster in his life, right? I told this story a million times, right? I told the tail end of the story. I never told this story before. I got hired there, and I'm being me. You know me, myself. I'm just always myself on the air. I'm a black man who happens to be a sportscaster. He did not like that. He wanted a black person, but he did not want the black voice, right? He told me, he said, do you want to be a sportscaster or do you want to be a black sportscaster?
You know you're light skinned.
And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, he wanted to hire the black face, but he did not want to hire the black voice, right? He didn't want the black experience. But he told me, he said, you weren't the most qualified.
Oh, he went there. He
told me that. He cut me, tried to cut me.
What did he say?
He said, you weren't the most. I hired you because you were black. And because there was a sportscaster at Channel 5, Newey Scruggs, who's still there, great sportscaster in Dallas, that was beating him in the ratings. And he wanted to.
Black Scruggs?
Black.
Okay.
Black.
And you didn't know you were DI hired?
I had no idea. I needed a job, nigga. I didn't know. I'm sorry.
It's called WFAA. We find affirmative action.
Hey, whatever it was, I needed a job. They got me a job. He hired me, and I told him when he told me he hired me because I was black. I said, you can fire me because I'm black. Because I didn't want the job because I'm black.
But were you blackifying topics?
I was not blackifying topics. I was being myself. I was being me. I was being my authentic self. And if that means being a black person on air, sure.
Was you Ryan Clarking it?
I was not Ryan Clarking. I wasn't Stuart Scotting it. I was just being me. I'm not going to sit up there and like, hi, my name is Mike Hill. That's not the way I talk. I grew up, I was born in New York. I was raised in Bessemer, Alabama, bro. I did not grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. I did not grow up articulating every single word of one of my words and trying to over-enunciate everything and sounding like this. That's not me.
I love it.
That wasn't me, bro. So when I got on the air, that wasn't me.
I would have fired your ass too. You just shut it.
That's what, no, but I wasn't like, yo, dog, let me tell you something. The motherfucking Mavericks doing their shit. I wasn't.
What was his real complaint? This is interesting. This is a case study.
His real complaint was that I was starting to get traction. But didn't
he hire you to get traction?
He hired me to get traction, but I was getting traction, and then plus there's a lot that goes involved. But he said you weren't the most qualified. He said I hired you because you were black and because I needed somebody like that. I've also been told when I was at ESPN, told this a million times before, that when I was at ESPN, they said he said that the reason you're not moving up is because you're too ghetto. That's what I was at ESPN. Me, I'm too ghetto.
You,
me. He said that we already have one of those. Boom. We already had one of those. I've told that story a million times. So when it comes, I wish we lived in a society where we did not have DEI. I want to be hired on my merit, on my ability, on my skill set, what I bring to the table. I'm a damn good sportscaster.
Say it, bro.
I'm damn good at what I do. I'm a damn good broadcaster. I'm one of the best. I'm serious. I've been doing this for 30 years this month. It'll be 30 years, bro. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I bring to the table. I just need opportunities. But I do not want to be hired because I'm black. I do not want to be hired because I'm a male or whatever. I don't want to be hired because of all that type of stuff. My skill set. But I also understand that there's a need to hire diverse individuals to be on the air. If you were at ESPN, when I first got to ESPN, they had black people that were on there like Stuart Scott, Stanford Red, Jay Harris, and I came into the mix or whatever, whatnot, and they started hiring some black sports. But there was a need in the producer ranks. They didn't have any black producers. They definitely didn't have any coordinating producers at ESPN when I first got there. There was a need to hire because there was no diversity there. All of a sudden, they hired 5 black coordinating producers, all male. And guess what? 4 of them motherfuckers got treated like shit. They got treated like shit because it was diverse. It was all at once because they needed to have that. So what I say is sometimes even if you're a person and they were qualified for their job, more than qualified for their job. They did their job. They were great at what they did, and still some of them are still in the business doing their thing and doing great things as well. But at the same time, because you get hired in those positions, don't think because you get hired in those positions you're black, the white counterparts see that and they think automatically that you don't deserve that job. And that puts you at a disadvantage.
Now, first of all, all right, round of applause for this monologue.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean this.
God dang, yo. Never asked somebody from Alabama about race. He just went there. We got to give it a metric. Let's be objective. There's a 9.0 broadcaster named Mike Hill. And there's a 9.0 broadcaster named Mike Smith, who is white.
Yep.
DEI tells me to take the 9.0 you, right? Over the 9.0 Hill.
Let me tell you something right there. So also, being a black sportscaster also hurt me. I'm sorry. It's also hurt me. So you're Asian, right?
No, he ain't now.
I'm confused.
But let me tell you something.
We'll give it away. Jeremy
let me tell you how this has also hurt me in my career. Being black has helped me in my career in some ways. It's hurt me in my career. If I was before I got the ESPN, before I got the networks, if I was applying for a job at a local station and they already had a black sportscaster there, I wasn't getting the job if they needed a weekend sports anchor. They weren't hiring 2 black sportscasters. But this is back in the 90s. This is when I first started off.
Yeah, we've seen that.
It wasn't happening. If there was how many times have you ever seen 2 Asians in a sports department? How many times have you seen 3? How many times have you seen 3 white guys in the sports department? Plenty of times.
Yeah.
You see that all the time. And how many people that they're talking about, the black sports guys, NBA, NFL, or whatever. There's no. So
now, should they have to draw from the sport they're covering in population?
No, it should,
or the population at large?
It should.
There's more white people.
It should be popular, but still, there needs to be diversity. There needs to be inclusion. I'm pretty sure that everybody that watches those stations aren't white. I'm pretty sure there's a black population because it helps. Let me tell you how else it also helps. Because when you see it, you believe it. You grew up in South Central.
Yeah.
I grew up, but see, I'm gonna tell you, I grew up in Bessemer, Alabama, right? So there is a difference. I think you grew up better than I did in a sense because even if you grew up in South Central, as much you hear about South Central, you can go 7 to 8, 9 miles and see Beverly Hills, Brentwood, Bel Air.
Yeah.
When I grew up in Bessemer, Alabama, I saw nothing.
Yeah, I know.
If I didn't get out of that state, if I didn't go to New York, if I didn't go anywhere else, I saw nothing. Growing up in the 80s, I saw nothing. The good thing that happened for me is that I came to Alababa from New York. So I saw I saw the possibilities of what it could be.
Planet, right.
You know what I mean? And this is when we're talking about before the internet and all that type of stuff like that. So diversity, seeing somebody on there, the reason that I'm even a sportscaster today is because when I was in Birmingham, Alabama, there was a black man that was on the news, one of the few black men that was on the news named Michael Hill, and he looked like me.
Damn, you took his name too?
No, he looked. I actually ended up being his nephew because I married his niece, ironically. But he looked like me.
That's the Alabama shit.
No, I'm saying he looked like me. I said, shit, that's possible. That's possible. So I'm telling you, man, I ain't mean to go on a rant on your show and everything,
Yes, you
but
did.
I'm saying,
It's okay.
but I'm saying I
We
think
gave you space.
it's necessary because it's necessary.
Let me piggyback off that. Let me, seeing someone that looks like you. So there was a big financial firm I worked in.
You saying we all look alike? What do you mean?
No, so there's a big financial firm. They specifically recruited from Morehouse and Spelman every summer. I remember that. It was a DEI initiative to only bring in kids from HBCs, all girls school, all male school, right? There were 20 or 30 that came every year, right? There's 18-year-old kids, never seen corporate office before, let alone New York, right? They walk in, everyone's wearing suits, like, whoa, you're wearing the World Trade Center. But they're seeing black engineers, black financial analysts, and for boys and girls to see that, they're saying, I can't believe this is a possibility for me. Because I can't speak for everyone, but they were saying there's a stigma to going into that field as a black female or black male, to be an engineer, to be a finance person. And some of these people, they weren't great, but others, I told them, hey, I'm going to be working for you one day, right? But that's race agnostic. You're going to have good and qualified, unqualified people, race agnostic. So just want to piggyback off of, unfortunately, I think we do need that to give some people opportunities where there isn't that, to call it, there's just not enough. There aren't enough black engineers.
And y'all know me.
Black finance people.
Y'all know where I'm coming from on this issue, but but I am conflicted. I hate it so much. I'm like, I don't need it. And if I don't need it, you don't need it. If you look like me, you don't need it. Like I want everyone to say, I don't need it. And then I hear you guys say, but the aggregate number says that group does need it, right? So me personally, I don't know when someone ever said, we need us a DEI, and Marcellus fits the bill. Sometimes they try to throw that at me about Columbia. And I'm like, well, I mean, I sure had some good grades and good scores and did a lot of work before that. But the point is, I hate it so much and I don't want to use it that I wish it would go away. One is because it's an affirmative action-ish in terms of you don't really elevate the group. Like, if you're not qualified and you get it, you're in trouble. And if you are qualified, wouldn't the system be rigged for finding the qualified ones?
No, that's the problem.
But no, let me give you an example.
Okay.
All right, who knows who the Sunda Duckett is? Go. Me, until I met her. I met her through Ben Horowitz. She's the head CEO of TIAA, Teachers, what's it called? Teachers Insurance Annuity Association. I bring her up because she's in charge of, I'm going to say it slow, $1 trillion fund. Sister. Went to Houston or something, like Delta, like just normal as it gets, right? And I'm like, I look at that and say, I don't need no hookups. No one even knows the people who are really doing it. We only know these like celeb spotlighty opportunities. There's so many regular people who are non-DEI that fit DEI that are destroying it, and all my alums. I'm like, and people walk by them, my best friends, Rory, Jabari, people like walk by them to talk to me. I'm like, you just walk by 2 Wall Street execs, one from Slauson, one from Miami, and if we say aggregate numbers, do you still feel that way? You know so many.
Well, Marcellus, let me jump in real quick.
Oh, yeah. Definitely jump in.
The biggest benefactor of DEI is white women.
That's what I keep hearing. Break it down.
It is.
It just is. That's what the numbers bear out.
But what's the logic? Well, how does the logic make those numbers come to fruition? I'm trying to figure that out. I've heard it a couple times. I never investigated it. Do you know?
What do you mean, the logic?
How is something intended for minorities helping someone who's not?
Because they look at women as a minority. Women are minorities.
But white ain't.
Outside of a white male, everything is a minority.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that's the logic. Okay, gotcha.
Right, so it's not just for black folks.
No,
it's white women are benefiting
more
tremendously from DEI initiatives. But what that should show you is overall is that white men are huddling and keeping people out. whether it's intentional or
They only
unintentional.
gonna hook up they wife, they ladies, they girls.
You know, listen,
But once again,
begrudgingly.
it's being politicized again because you never hear when you talk about DEI hires, the code, the phrase that they're using now, this whole word that is supposed to intend to bring a certain emotion out of us, which I'm telling black people not to have that emotion because you know what people are saying. It always refers to either somebody in the the LGBTQ community
Or black.
or a black person.
That's right.
They never say that white woman was a DEI hire. You
Well-
never see a DEI because of DEI hire this happened or whatever. You never hear that. But once again, like you said, the numbers show that white women benefit more from DEI initiatives than any other group ever. So once again, I'm with you, Marcellus. I wish we didn't have to have affirmative action. I wish we didn't have DEI. I wish we lived in a society where they could look at my character, look at my credibility, and not look at the color of my skin. I really wish, but because we know that the people that are in charge, the people that are making these decisions about these corporate positions are not in place to do that. Are we ready for that reset? Maybe in the 60s it wasn't the case. Okay, are we ready to okay? Well, we don't need this.
We trust the whole system.
Yeah, we can take the training wheels off now. Let's take the training wheels off and see how we. Maybe we should take the training. Maybe we should take the training wheels off for a second and see if we can ride for a second. But if you start fumbling and tumbling again and falling and scraping our knee, you gotta put that shit back on, bro.
Well,
you gotta put it back on.
And Mike, how is all of this any different than, like we said, the guy who's heading up the Department of Defense? All his biggest calling card was he was on Fox News and he was in the Army.
And he's an ally.
The
of
brother,
president.
Lloyd Blankenship, was a 4-star general. He was the
Lloyd
head
Austin.
of
Yep.
this thing,
Yep.
and he was the head of this thing. So, like my father always said, you had to be twice as good to go half as far.
Yep.
So be well prepared. This guy was only in the Army. He wasn't anything in the Army. He was just in it.
And a loyalist.
Like anybody else.
but
And he's
now-
the head of the
But
Department
see, this
of
is
Defense.
why I don't like this conversation, because it's selective perception. So then you'll use that and say, see, like what we were saying with the Rooney Rule. But then people will be like, there have been black coaches who have no experience, and they don't get a lot of conversation. We only talk about when it's the white one. Like Byron Scott didn't have no experience. He just became a head coach. Mike Tomlin didn't have the experience. He was on the staff. He was a coach. Like it goes.
J.J. Redick is the head coach of the L.A. Lakers right
Steve
now.
Kerr didn't have experience.
Steve Kerr, right.
Everybody goes
So
to the
my
same-
thing is,
yeah.
we all go to the same thing different ways, and we don't add up. I will say this about minorities, or at least my people. We don't add up the ones that disprove the narrative, disprove the stereotype. We only talk about when we feel slighted. I just mentioned a lady that no one knows who runs $1 trillion fund that's black, and not a single soul would know her name. And that's to my point. Like, do you really need training wheels?
Now name me another one.
Do you? But
I mean, I
even
can
that
do
lady, I don't know if you know her history or not. There was nothing that helped her or benefited her along the way.
I'm sure that big brain and that hard work.
No, great brain. I mean,
And connections.
Always qualified. There's credibility. Once again, when it comes to DEI hires, it does not mean we're not qualified. It doesn't mean that we don't have the qualification. It doesn't mean that we're
No,
not.
I get it.
So that's the problem that I'm having when it comes to this whole conversation. That woman was qualified, but maybe there was something along the way that 15 years ago she might not have had the opportunity to be in the position that she's in right now, because there were certain things that were in place by because it was necessary to put them in place to put her in a place where she could advance her own good to help other people. That's what I'm talking about. So like 20 years ago,
I know a lot of older. I keep saying black because when I see DEI, it looks at me. I'm like, no, I'm good. But I know it's looking at us. I know too many older black cats that just, it's our community at whole. We don't acknowledge our successes. I'll go down the street and I'll be like, I don't know that dude, but he lived right down the street, so he doing something. And we only talk about when it ain't enough of us here, and then I'm like, it's some here though.
you had a whole career because of DEI.
And what?
In football.
How was
Football was once not integrated, bro.
Oh yeah, but
No. There's qualifications. It's once again somebody had to take a stand and say, you know what, we need more black players, and they can help us out or whatever. Once again,
but that's not my plight.
That's not
my story.
These Fortune 500, that's not your story. I'm talking about that's not your.
No, it's not.
But you benefited. But you benefited from.
No.
Everybody, because
it's your story
be,
because you get to reap some of the benefit. From what happened years ago.
You're connecting me, my abilities, and the opportunity I have to what they had in restriction back then. I had no influence on the restriction. I had no influence on the lessening the restriction. So now to put that on me is almost like people inheriting the guilt and the issues of their fathers.
Why do you feel like it's being put on you?
You're saying I'm a DEI hire?
No, I'm not saying you're. I said you benefited from it. Just like a lot of people have benefited from the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Voting Rights Act of 1965. We are benefiting from the hard work that people deserve to have, needed to have, because it should have been their rights to have as an American citizen to have, but they had to fight for it.
In that respect,
they got it, but we benefited from it because we got the right to vote for it right now. You had the right to play in the NFL because of the hard work, the sacrifice that a lot of black players who weren't allowed to play in the NFL for a long period of time before they actually got the right to do it.
But I don't think that's analogous to a DEI hire is okay. We're going to identify someone in this bracket to play or take this job. They don't do that in the NFL. They didn't do that for me.
No, I get that. I'm
not trying to be a literalist,
also look at Fortune 500 companies like, okay, well, this person is qualified. Like, we got all these white people here. And it's a little bit different. I understand that. We got all these white people here. We are not identifying with our consumer base or the people that buy our products or whatever and whatnot. We don't have anybody like, and then there are different ideas that you have.
But do you want that? Do you want that?
Yes, especially if they're qualified.
You sure?
If they are qualified, if they're the best person for the position, especially if it's a situation where I am like hiring nothing but white men, and nothing, if they're qualified, that's great. But I'm hiring nothing but white men, and I am disqualifying somebody when they first come in the door and they say they're black, they're woman, or Latino, or LGBT community. And we can tell that's still the case to this day, Marcellus, because of what people are saying about the people who are qualified. When they say he's a DEI hire and all these people that's railing against DEI hires, you can tell what their mindset is, because if they were in charge,
first of all, you can't tell nobody's mindset.
But you can tell their mindset because.
Second of all, here's the thing: you just said you want your corporation to be linear in expression of what its consumer base is. No, you don't. But if it's an all-white product, you do not want all white people. If it's an all-black product, you don't want all black people.
But
do you?
And sometimes that happens.
Yeah,
sometimes it happens both ways. But it happens both ways. Don't get me wrong. But it doesn't mean that if a white person wanted to go work for Johnson & Johnson or a product like that and they were qualified to do so, if that's going to help my company and I need some diversity and some white people all of a sudden want to buy like perm shit that they put in their hair or whatever, and if they want to do, they start buying my product, absolutely. I need it because I need to, like, okay, what's this white person thinking right here? Because is that going to make my company better? Even though I'm a $1 trillion company right now, how can I be a multi-trillion dollar company? Yeah. I want to make my company better. And once again, diversity has proven that it makes your company more money when you have a diverse product. Once again, bro, it's
I hear all of that, but you got to understand this. Even if it makes all that money, it's still someone's company, right? And it's funny when we're talking about the plights of the DEI, not talking about the rights that come from it. Let's go through some like Ruthless Records was the first black company I knew. I don't know, Compton. If you look at it, he hired Jerry Heller, and everybody else was black, right? Where's the DEI? Where's the minorities in there? There's only when it's a black company, it gets blacked out. Death Row, all these kind of companies I was thinking about, like Black Leader, they go black. And then when you see a white company and they go white, we got mad. And I'm like, but when we have our chance, are we mixing it up? Are we sprinkling people in?
There are people like BT hires white people.
Well, BT white now.
No, what I'm saying. Okay, but once again, they have hired white people. Whatever. It's never been a situation where like and there's also history that's involved in the whole situation. It's not just something that just happened overnight. There's a history. There's something that has happened for so many years that needed to change in order for that. But if it's I work for black companies. I work for BNC, Black News Channel. We had white people. As a matter of fact, my showrunner was a white guy. You know what I'm saying? When I worked for Black News Channel, and he was qualified. He did his job. I didn't look at him as a white person. Can you help the company? And if it's diverse, and if white people want to watch Black News Channel, so be it. As a matter of fact, I wanted white people to watch the Black News Channel because I needed them to learn about us.
I'm listening to you, Eugene. I know you're over there. But when you say history, this is my biggest problem with history, is that it's his story. And cats always be like, but it's the history. I'm like, you have no connection to that history other than the benefits.
We all do.
We all do in the most general sense. So good. I'm glad you say all. Okay. We all do. So then don't try to make it like leverage higher or lower for me, because guess what? When you talk about it, my daddy told me this, and I agree. He was like, I don't want to hear your stories, your sob stories, because they ain't comparing. They not. And we try to wear them like they are when we got opportunities. My boys are executives. You say the DEI are. No, they're not. And if they aren't, they are. But the point is, there are so many of those guys that we don't even talk about, or we don't even give them proper reference. I'm listening.
Well, no, I was just going to say, here are the challenges I've had with DEI, having hired multiple teams, right? So when DEI became a big thing, I had a team of all white males. And so there's noise, like, hey, how come you have a team of just all white dudes? Like, there's a gay guy on that team next to you, there's a woman next to you, how come you got nothing but white dudes? Like, I just qualified the best. And it just stuck in my head. So when I left that company, the next team I had nothing but Hispanic, Black, Asians, not a single white person, right? so that's, I'm just sharing my experience of for me personally, it left that kind of, okay, I overcorrected.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why I brought with the whole ESPN thing. Like, they overcorrected. You can't do it overnight. It's not, you just can't just throw everybody at somebody and say, hey, this is correcting the whole situation, because there's going to be disagreements, there's going to be some pushback. Because at ESPN, like I said, them people at ESPN gave them CPs hell when they came in. Them coordinating producers, 5 that came in there, they gave them hell because they didn't feel like they were qualified. And they were definitely qualified. So you can't overcorrect it overnight. There needs to be a gradual increase. And once again, I am with you guys. I do not want it to be a DEI initiative. I don't want it to be affirmative action. I want people to do the right thing when they have a position to do the right thing. But if we can't trust you to do the right thing, then yes, we need initiatives in place.
And the toughest thing about this conversation is the trust, because how does the trust get expressed? How does this trust received? How do you see the trust? Is it trustworthy to see all black people or all ladies? Or like, it's not. And to your point, Eugene, it looks one way. I'm trusting the numbers. I'm trusting these guys are the most qualified. Oh, that's not it. There got to be some other ones. Okay, now I trust and do it this way. You're still not happy. Like, either way it goes, that's the thing. So I trust that we got to get out of here, because these cameras about to run out of battery. But more importantly, man, what a spirited discussion. Appreciate all you guys, and thank you for tuning in on The Rocks, episode 9. Gone. Yeah.